Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to another stream. One thing I just noticed while starting this one is that on my stream starting soon screen, I still have to I messed around with the chat, the size of chat, and I did correct it on that screen, but that's something I'll do at another point in time. Let's get background music going. Everything seems good audio level wise. Hopefully. Welcome. So today, we are hoping to do conveyor belt things. I don't know how this is gonna go. I have ideas, and we're going to play around with them. Now, I know that... Going down immediately. I know the last stream wasn't the most 10 out of 10 stream ever. It was a lot of me just messing around with lighting stuff. That definitely was a struggle, but I did a lot more research and experimenting between then and now. And while I'm still no lighting expert, I do think that I've learned some things. My camera's slightly off. Hold on. Something like that. It did fall earlier, so yeah, I don't think I got it back exactly right. Yeah, okay, whatever, it's fine. It doesn't matter that much. Yeah, also you may notice that just in general down there looks different than it did last stream. Just for comparison, for funsies. Well, when we first made it, the test looked like this. Ooh, very nothing. I'm not gonna go through all of it. There's 7, kind of. A lot of them are very samey. At one point it looked like... No, not that one. I think the last stream, I think it was this one, maybe? Except I've actually moved up the... I've moved up the, words, what I'm trying to say. Moved down the amount of space that the desktop covers, so that's a thing. Let me just go back to, so there was this one at one point. Maybe this is what, I don't know which one it looked like when we ended the stream, but like whatever. It went through some iterations, basically. Getting to now currently looking like this. And yeah, so that's stuff I've been playing around with, and yeah, I think I have a little bit of a better understanding of some lighting things. What really helped is I went digging around through some Unity projects I was able to Unity projects by Unity themselves, the company that I was able to sort of pick apart a little bit, mainly dissecting some lighting stuff, especially more modern stuff. I found some stuff made in the default render pipeline, and it's like, okay, ooh, oh no, did I just... Okay, no, I thought I unplugged something. We're good, I think. Actually, I just... No. Okay, no. Thought I unplugged my moving desk motor thing, but no. All good. What was I saying? Yeah, when you find old stuff, it only is so helpful. Yeah, found something that was a little bit more recent that I was able to pick apart and be like, oh, these are some potentially good settings, and here's why I see that they're set up a particular way. Not that one scene's settings are the be all end all, but at least having something to work off of and at least be like, this looks good, here's yeah, stuff I can kind of work off of. It helped, I guess. Yeah, blah blah blah. Did things. did more experimenting, and then even in my own scene. I actually have a few scenes that were kind of some in between, just me experimenting with stuff on its own. We have this. Actually, that's not the first one, but let me go in order of. So there's this. Actually, some of these aren't gonna. They at different points in time looked better because going back into the main scene, they actually are sharing some of the same post-processing effects. So actually, if I turn this off, yeah, you actually see the back wall there. Anyway, there was. I'll save you, yeah. There was this that was me trying to do something at one point, mainly with just some reflection stuff. I just found some images and was partially trying to recreate the things. I'm not going to fully recreate this, but yeah, that was something. There's this, which actually initially was going to be a test of a dim lighting scenario, but whatever. Yeah, and then this was all just me looking at tutorials of things and experimenting with things and trying to figure out why my lighting things looked absolutely terrible and other things looked good. But I got to a point where it's, yeah, better. Still not great, but yeah, better. And better is good. Okay, so, yeah, so what today, though, I'm hoping we're not going to be focusing on lighting things because, yeah, that's not super interesting. I think that how I want to kind of handle these streams and with some of these larger projects that I'm doing is trying to do more of the tedious stuff on my own And then, especially me just like messing around with like lighting, graphic-y things where I barely know what I'm doing. And say what I think would be more interesting for stream content for the streams, such as hopefully this will be interesting. Today we're gonna be doing more programming-y things, physics-y things, and we're gonna see how that's gonna go. So also just fun fact before we get into this, I did a bit more planning here. My sort of random like Trello board of just future potential streams and whatnot. Between last stream and now, I was able to do a lot of thinking, and I have a better... Well, there still needs to be fleshed out a little bit, I guess. Fleshing out specific ideas. At least in my head, I have a much better idea of my sort of roadmap of the next several streams, and the content that we're going to be making that will hopefully be very cool. So yeah, that was good. Because I was kind of very like well, I'm still a little bit planning some things, but I was very wish-washy. Like, I have all these things that I want to do, but I don't know the best order to kind of do them. And now I think I have a better order for at least the near future. So hopefully that'll be cool. Yeah, I also have a rough list of ideas for the next at least 10, kind of 13 tutorials that are gonna be on my channel in theory, but I imagine like there's gonna be some swaps. What one thing I found kind of helpful was, rather than just trying to be like, if I'm trying to be like, so I already knew I think what the next tutorial is gonna be, and I sort of ironed out a little bit more of what that's gonna be. Try and plan the next one, plan them individually. If I don't know, it felt very, it was hard to be like, oh, what's an idea that's gonna be good? It's like the idea for, you know, whatever thing. But planning like multiple at a time just kind of made it, I don't know, easier to like I could make it, if I want to make a tutorial on coroutines, it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, like it's the only thing that like the biggest thing ever that what am I trying to say? Not worrying myself out, but just planning stuff multiple tutorials at a time. No, I didn't necessarily mean to plan 10, but I just kind of was coming up with a list. And then a list of potential like ones I might swap out. It also, so with some of these that I'm planning, I kind of ranking them as being like beginner, intermediate, or expert kind of tutorials, and then sort of being able to space out some stuff. Yeah, anyway, and in general, it's just spacing out some ideas so that they can be good, I guess. Yeah, so anyways, so that's stuff that I'm planning that we're still not getting to just yet, but we're on the road. So like one thing that I'm, as an example, the conveyor belts we're doing right now, depending on how it goes, might be a tutorial, basically doing exactly whatever it is we do today. So, but we're gonna wait and see, I guess, how that actually turns out, how clunky the code is. I don't want to do tutorials on very messy, clunky things in theory, but I can get to a point where it's like decently nice, or even if it's clunky today, but I do more ironing out of the ideas and get to a point where it's better, then yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, so that's that. So like, anyways, I can ramble more about my tutorial stuff later. That's still stuff to come and beyond and whatever. But I have an idea of the next couple things I'm gonna be making, so that's cool. But before I even get to my next tutorial, I want to do just a little bit more of messing around with this cool under my stream background looping animation thingy. So yeah, so from last stream to now, just messed around with lighting, did some texturing things, which was cool. As you can see, I mean, the grid texture is just different from, well, at the last stream, was it I forget if it exactly looked like this at the end of the last stream or not, or if it was the one that was just solid lines or whatever. But I did go and make some textures. Look at these. I'll need to like double back over these and like name them better, but you can just see I just have some examples of. Oh, sorry, that's something wrong. Had some examples of, here's a texture. Oh, that's something I could. Yeah, there we go. Actually, I don't know why this is a lot smaller than this one. They are the same size, the actual file size. Type this. This one I don't actually need anymore. This was a relic of older things, but whatever. There's a lot here that I've been making, especially in my testing, that I just haven't deleted, but, you know, we'll get to that at some point. Yeah, so anyway, it's just, yeah, made some textures that can be good. I don't actually know if I want a texture on that at the moment. We'll see. Well, we're about to, in theory, be remaking this entire conveyor belt thing, so it doesn't matter as much. Okay, so... Yeah, but anyways, just made some stuff that... not actually a lot of this is in the scene. There's the... Is it this one that's on these walls on the back? And... At first, it was... I just wanted this, like, 1x1 thing to put on the cubes. But then I made... I think it's, yeah, this one where just the little half-line notches just look cool. Little details. So in theory, I'll potentially be making more of these just... random details and stuff, and yeah, it looking good so far, looking good enough. It would be nice if eventually, it's like right now it's just like a wall, a floor, and a conveyor belt. It'd be cool if eventually this was fleshed out more to being an actual like kind of environment. I still like the grid aesthetic. Like I like the idea that it looks like kind of in a way like a Unity level type, like you're building a level of a game kind of idea. I like that aesthetic, but then I also like the bright color and the mostly the white and kind of grays, but then the little bit of color here and there, usually being cyan. Well, with the cubes down there, right now I just picked like all of these. Where is it? Over here, materials. Blah. So the random basic colors, but then I have you're not supposed to have that. Yeah. These others do? Yeah, okay. Which means you're also supposed to be back on this. Yeah. Okay, so, and then grid. Basically, I have all these just, actually, they look weird here somehow, but this is the material that's on... The material that's on those cubes, and they look totally fine, so I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. They're going through, it's not just the texture, they're going through a custom shader thing that I made that, like, yeah, does some cool things. It makes it so that I can, on these objects, basically go, woo, and have the thing actually, like, move around, which is awesome. It'll be cool for when we block out more actual cool things. The goal is basically making it kind of like, so there's a Unity, what do I call it, an extension, and kind of, in a way, an asset store thing, but then it's now just in Unity proper, a package. Pro Builder, that is a thing that allows you to block out levels, and it tends to, have textures like, or it has a grid texture that's basically like this, where it like moves with the world. So I was kind of going for that feel, but I didn't want to copy that texture specifically, because I just wanted it to be like my own kind of thing, playing around with ideas and whatever. But yeah, anyways, so that's that. What else? But yeah, so I made the cubes themselves actually have a bit more detail just because. It'd be cool if eventual idea, just where we can take this. So one is, to recap one thing, this conveyor belt thing that's going on down there. It was just the starting idea to prototype, just having something that's going on beneath the stream just for funsies. I want to keep fleshing out this idea, which is like, how do we just take that, make it more interesting, like making the cubes more, eventually an actual model of some kind at some point. I think it'd be cool if I leaned into like the game thing, game engine-y thing of like, if they're just cubes that were labeled like sprites, materials, models, prefabs, whatever, scripts that were going by, like, yeah, that could be cool. And maybe the occasional one that's like all bugged out or whatever. Yeah, that could be cool. Also, the area beneath where chat shows up, if instead of going this way, if it was like going that way and they were like dropping out a chute and then going, that could be cool. Also, because, yeah, down here, the space below chat can be used as part of the animations, but ideally, there's not as much. Like, the focus is down there because here's going to be covered with text. But yeah, so fleshing out this, but then eventually also be cool to have multiple just little animations down there, and maybe like every stream I just, use a different one. Like, as an example, I have a submarine thing that I made, like a submarine tutorial thing that I made. So I pull stuff from that and just make it like a submarine that's just like flying around in like an underwater environment as another looping animation thing. It's interesting a little bit, the idea of having to, if I'm planning little subtle looping animations, planning for the fact that the screen size that I'm working with for them is 200 by 1920. So yeah, that's the thing. And then also it's supposed to be like subtle and not too much going on that's like super distracting or whatever. Although it's perfect for times like right now where I'm not doing anything, I'm just rambling. This is, yeah, the use case, the main use case is, well, I'm just not doing much, I'm just rambling, just having some interesting thing going on. But the further off idea is to, instead of having it just be a looping animation, because I have what I have in Unity and I render it as a video and then I just drop it in. It'd be cool if it was actually a live, always running Unity project sitting on my computer somewhere that actually had like randomness in it, having cool code stuff happening. A small example for it, with the conveyor belt thing is if like there was different paths and different like cubes maybe went on different conveyors or something, or if it was like things go through but then some things get rejected and they like spring away or something, random like things like that. But it'd be cool for stuff that isn't repeating. It has some level of randomness to it that can just keep going, and then just cool game mechanic type things that are just visually interesting, like being more about, hey, look at that cool code that's going on down there, like maybe eventually like a random maze generator thing, and then like an AI that's like going through the maze or whatever, things like that. Play around with different camera angles. I like them being more 3D, not like completely flat. We'll see if we make multiple things, then who knows? We'll see what things look like. But yeah, it'd be cool, the combination of both, like, ooh, look at that cool code that's running, and also, hey, that looks mildly visually interesting. And then also it could be a good excuse to like I can use maybe some models or even some code from some of the projects that I'm working on or whatever. Like when I'm working on Hand with Unicycle, we have something going on down there with like the little unicycle guy like going back and forth doing stuff. Would be cool. And then next step beyond that, would be cool if chat can type stuff that then affects what's going on. Would be super cool. Like one idea that I had would be like, again, hard to like figure out how to fit it in the space, but if you had like a level that looks like a 3D platformer kind of a level that I guess is just really long and like short, or the camera's zoomed out a lot, and you have a little guy that can like runs around different points of interest, and you got like ramps and like moving platforms or like whatever, different like little gaps or whatever. He's just like running around, AIing around as if he's like a 3D platformer character, and maybe chat could type stuff that would like spawn points of interest, like things that are whatever, like glowing collectibles around, you'd automatically pathfind to them. Like that could be cool as an example. But ideally, like, we make multiple things and then they switch out from time to time. I just think it'd be cool to make such things, both to learn how to do such things and then just the interesting visual results that we get out of making them. Yeah, so that's kind of where that's going. We're not doing all of that right now. Right now, I want to do this like conveyor belt thing, but then we might start to be like, okay, it's a good enough base for now, and then go back into some of the other stuff that I was working on, and kind of go back and forth between some stuff I'm doing for down there, and then for whatever actual stuff I'm making with the tutorials. Although there's definitely going to be overlap, which can be good. Like, right now, as I said, we want to try to make some physically accurate-ish conveyor belts, and then that might be one of my tutorials that I make. I want to do something with lasers, having like lasers bouncing off of mirrors. I don't think we're going to do full-on like mirrors. That'd be a whole other thing. But like lasers that like automatically redirect off of like surfaces or whatever. That could be cool. Which I'm thinking that if that goes well, that'll also be a tutorial in and of itself, but we'll see. Doesn't mean I'm going to immediately make down there a laser thing, but I mean I could. Actually, that'd be kind of neat. Is like things, cubes going along conveyor belts, and then it's like a laser and they get like cut in half. That's mildly interesting. Well, okay, lasers and then lasers cutting stuff in half. Those are two separate things, but different things we could play around with. Actually, that'd be kind of interesting. Is every new thing I do, I like have to add it down there into the animation somehow. That probably like overcomplicate things too much. I don't want everything I do to be about improving the down there animation thing, but for now, this conveyor belt thing is at least because that was at least one idea for what we're gonna do. Also, right now, I cheat with how it loops because it just, as you see, like right now, it just all the cubes get to the end, and then the animation loops, and then more come back on. It'd be cool if it was actually continuous. So that might also be a thing that we work on, figuring out how to get that to happen. Although, when I get to the point where instead of just being a looping video, it's actually as I said, separate Unity project running all the time, and it has some degree of randomness and chat being able to affect it or whatever, then that's not a problem. So actually, saying it out loud, maybe I don't actually worry about writing all the custom code or whatever to make it like loop perfectly, when the long-term solution is that won't even be a factor because it won't be an animation, it'll be a constantly running thing. So maybe I don't waste the time doing that right now. We'll see. I mean, right now it loops fine enough. The conveyor belt thing, yeah, just works well enough for looping. Or we're gonna see when We'll see if the conveyor belts themselves are able to loop. I mean, if it's a like, there's always definitely ways to cheat it, probably, but yeah, we'll see how much of a problem that actually becomes. Anyways, so what are we actually doing here today? Conveyor belts. Let's get to the end of me giving introductory rambling and get to conveyor belt stuff. So, when you have conveyor belts in games for different purposes, and like a factory with, you know, cubes going along, or, you know, 3D platformers, 2D platformers, just conveyor belts to just make the player move in a direction. Often they're cheated. Like, it's just like code that's, you know, when you, like right now, well, actually, no, but when we initially did this, it's code like on the cube or the player. When they're touching this, apply force in that direction. And then the actual, how the conveyor belt looks is usually just like a scrolling texture or whatever. I've done that before, actually. And that's, you know, the way that you commonly cheat that kind of thing is the conveyor belt itself doesn't actually move. It just gives the appearance of moving and then moving whatever's on it. This thing, as is in the animation down there, right now we just have this one long sheet that just actually just moves, and then the cubes on it all move at a steady pace. Then there's just doesn't need to be much code. Actually, there's like basically no code on the cubes other than just the randomizing the color and stuff. However, I want to try just for fun. Like, I don't have to. I want to try it just for fun. I want to make more physically accurate kind of conveyor belts. The idea, what I want to do, not a full looping belt, but I basically want to see if we can try effectively having a bunch of sheets like this that all move in, you know, this kind of a manner, where they actually, there's some kind of gear mechanism that it's actually, whoa, I'm trying to go around the red bit, yeah, like that it actually, you know, ooh, and then it's going underneath. If we could pull that off, I think that would be cool. I don't know how it's gonna go. We're gonna find out. If we are able to get that happen, then rather than being one long continuous conveyor belt, ideally it's going to be a bunch of little ones that, like, this part turns and then this part turns over, this part turns over, and then as the cube is going in between those segments, it's going to kind of dip and go up a bit, and that could lead to some interesting looking stuff. So yeah, let's see if we can actually pull that off. I don't know. This is all experimental. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll explode horrifically. I mean, dealing with physics stuff of this nature, it can be very sensitive. So yeah, we're gonna see. Do I get rid of it? For now, I guess I'll keep this one around. Deciding actually, maybe while this is working, maybe I quickly duplicate the scene and, like, be working in, like, new conveyors or whatever, just to keep this as, like, a working kind of backup to go back to. New conveyors. I'm actually gonna do just a tiny bit of clean right now. There's, like, the sort of real scenes of experimenting with this thing, and then there's the scenes I was doing when I was doing, like, lighting testing. Why did I put an S on the end of that? No. That's this guy, this guy, this guy, and then this. There you go. Yeah. So you, and then I should clone the post-processing, clone the lighting data. Right, you're still using the other one. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, so new conveyors. If I could spell, that would be great. Okay. Ideally, I would have done this, like, setup beforehand, but what you gonna do? I want to have what I'm actually doing in the streams be more interesting, more of the actual coding things. Is this not the same scene that I'm going into? Yeah, okay. Okay, let me also just... The post-processing I cloned, but I didn't rename, which, yeah, these are all buried in here. These shouldn't be in here like this. This, go to here. This is actually the one for the main scene, so just dump it in there. Okay, hold on, main, and then, yeah. Nah, I didn't spell that right. Okay, let's make things, shall we? double check that actually got those. The actual name of the scene should maybe be at the beginning, so I can actually more easily tell apart. But whatever, it's fine. Okay. Now I can mess around with this freely. So what? So how are we going to do this? We need a bit more of a game plan. Because I say physically accurate, kind of. We're gonna find out how, like, to what degree that is. But at the very least, I want a thing that's, like, moving around. Now, one thing to point out is that, well, if it wasn't, if I want cubes to actually be moving around, like, there's many different ways I could try to fake this. Again, with scrolling textures and, like, whatever. I could make an animation of this thing, you know, moving in this kind of a manner or whatever. But that wouldn't work that well with, you know, rigid body stuff. I want to try, just for the sake of trying, to see if I can do it without an animation, without it being, you know, faked with a textures or whatever. I want to see if I can have a thing that's somehow physically actually moving in that kind of manner. So, yeah, let's see how that's gonna go. I am also probably gonna thin this out. So, one thing I am additionally gonna do is, rather than it being one continuous band that's going around, that's like actually having that bendy motion, that would be a bajillion times harder. I'd have to maybe do like mesh deformation. I want to try, maybe this is cheating a little bit, but still, just the style I wanted to try. A style of conveyor belt where it's actually like, you know, long sheets, and the individual sheet doesn't bend, but it's connected to like this, and it's connected to this, and the individual parts will bend around, but it's still like planks. So planks that go around is kind of the idea that I wanted. I don't know how spaced apart they'll need to be. That'll be around like that to make sure just the cubes themselves don't fall through it. If we do get this working, I don't know if then I'll maybe actually texture this, make it more like some kind of metal or something. The cyan was just like, it's a color. I don't know, we'll see. But the graphical side, I don't need to worry about too much right now. But yeah, anyway, so this. So we have this. I guess let's design like how wide is one of these going to be? Ideally, wide enough that like I think. Okay, let me instead of starting with the conveyor piece itself, I'm thinking, and I don't know how this is going to work, that we not only have this sort of planks, but we also have some kind of gear mechanism thingy, where, if I just call this, conveyor gear. I can't spell anything today, apparently. Whatever. Actually, I'm also just going to make a new empty game object. Conveyor piece or something like that. Just to keep all this like so I can move it all around at once eventually. Make these numbers nice, but still gonna work on it up in midair, kind of. Yeah. Just I don't have to worry about the ground right now. Is the ground perfectly on the ground? You're at like the 0, so no, but whatever, it's fine. Actually, as just a separate test, I just want to see if the background wall here happens to look better. If you can see. Ooh. Yeah, I think actually I just like the aesthetic of just a little bit of that. You can see the lines there. So I'm just moving everything down because I mentioned with the camera down. But when I do this whole new conveyor thing, I might have to reposition the camera anyways. While I'm doing this, I might also. So the two things that I had, or two ideas I have with an extra with the cubes, to use the down here below me where chat is part of the animation, is either how the cubes come in or how they can exit. I think it's either they go along the conveyor belts from the left, and once they get here, they get like sucked up by some kind of thing that's sucking them up or whatever, and maybe it only sucks up every couple ones or whatever. Some go by, some go up or whatever. Or they drop from this and land and then go over this way. I don't know which. Well, I mean, or I was about to say it could be like a big like claw that comes down and grabs them. That I think is too much going on for the behind the chat area. That part's not supposed to have that much going on. So something that's more static, that I think he was dropping down and then dropping onto the conveyor belt gives them more like tumble, I guess, as they go on the conveyor belt. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm decided on We'll have them drop in and then go off this way, I guess. Which might mean what the reposition the camera, but that does affect that. I guess we're gonna have the conveyor themselves go to the left. I mean, I feel ideally in the code it's something set up to make it easy enough to, you know, like reverse or whatever, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so gear, before I go any further, I'm just gonna give this gear, ooh, interesting. I'll give you the gray one. Not that it matters that much. And, you know, even you can get that. That doesn't work super well on you. Let's go Conveyor. If I want to resize it, I kind of can, but don't want to mess with these materials because they're meant to be like the basic, like 4 blocks kind of thing. So I use the cyan and the gray. Call this conveyor block, and like eventually this might be swapped out for something else. We'll see. And then this is conveyor gear. Double checking that these are the versions that are on these, and then now I can more easily resize this to my heart's content. Now, ideally, we're not. Oh right, I made the tiling is only on one axis right now. I don't want to have to worry about making it not that way right this second. I will just do this, and yeah, that looks good enough. We'll come back to it. Like I'll do that probably on my own time. Is making it so that it tiles better. How about this? Can I just? But if I can just quickly put in stuff that's like, yeah, that looks good enough, then that's what I'm doing. I'm just also messing with, since I can mess with the scale. But I have this like offset. Ooh, I kind of like what that's doing. Sure. This I probably will make an actual model of like a physical gear at some point. This is more like the placeholder for it, but we can still have placeholders. Look kind of neat, I guess. So conveyor piece, you are. We'll work off of basically between here and here. And yeah, so the idea, I'm thinking actually. So I say that. Well, where the child part is, or whether the parent doesn't matter. I think we're basically gonna have it. I guess we'll go like use this kind of 1x1 space. Well, it's 1x4, so we'll have this conveyor be like 1x4 wide, and we'll say that it like, yeah, this motion I'm making with my mouse. That's what we're gonna attempt. Let me just, did I get the X part to be good? Oof, no, I did not. I mean. And then even on here, so then I also want to, I can be consistent about how wide. We'll say that it's, how wide is the one down there? I mean, I delete it. Well, it was basically this, right? So it's basically 2. Actually, it's like, it's 3. Wait, why are you not? Why do you have to be 2.5 to line up with this? That's is that the size that I set you? Let me double check real quick. This is grid. You are tiling at 0.2. Yeah. Yeah, so this is 5. Well, I mean, I could do this and then it'd be actually 4. I mean, put this behind my head lined up so nicely. I mean, I could offset. I also did make the offset. Yeah, I did make that. A little multiple axis. It might work better for now. So I mean, I can move the camera. Now that I'm changing more stuff with the fundamental conveyors, I can move the camera. I like at least the sort of 2 lines going down. But again, it doesn't matter that much. I expect that with this new conveyor belt, we're going to reposition the camera anyways. I also, and these are more like placeholders, so it doesn't really matter if they get put into, but I mean, especially also actually if I was going to potentially make them come down from here, I might effectively reverse. This kind of thing. I mean, we should, to some degree, be designing the conveyor belts and all that with how the camera is viewing them in mind. I wanted that. Hold on, let me go back to just like normal head-on for a second. This is this. I like the making use of the 3D. I want to do that to some degree, but I mean, yeah. Can I? Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it. But if I'm gonna come back to it, I mean to put it back to it was, where it was like a decent fine angle. overthink it for days. So let's try just this being a 2 for right now, which again we can always change. Put the conveyor thing itself perfectly here. Well, no, because then you're in between. Whatever. Okay, work over here. Doesn't matter that much. Just go. Guys, big too much time just trying to fine-tune these initial details that don't matter that much. Blah. Well, I mean, they'll kind of matter. Some of this now might, like, this designing for this kind of region might make our job easier eventually. But we get to the physics stuff. But, yeah. Okay, so the idea, as well, would also be kind of cool. If this is between our conveyor, we don't necessarily need turning bits in the middle. It'd be cool if there was only the turning gears on either end, and we let this kind of sag a little bit in the middle. That would also just be cool-looking conveyor details. Could even have, like, little gears going along here, depending on how it is. So we'll see. So, like, yeah, I don't fully know how this is going to work, but ideally it's basically something like... Well, yeah, then I got to design for the curves. Ideally, yeah, I'm able to set this up in a way that just kind of, you know, it just kind of works. So ideally we have this kind of thing and it wraps around. Now, I don't know if stuff here should be... I don't know if... How much of this should be like, oh, I just, you know, type in some numbers and these things get spawned in by code in order to work, but, you know, we're going to see. A lot of this is just going to be figuring stuff out. So I'm expecting that this initial design of this isn't going to work, and that we'll have to modify it, but this is just going to be a sort of starting point. Okay. So, how are we going to do this? So first, actually, I'm curious, I guess just as a starting bit, I expect this to go wrong. I expect this to be janky, but if I just start by making these go in, is the actual piece itself centered? Yeah, I'll put these under. This is all this, yeah. Wog and large. I want to start by basically just making these turn. Ideally, what would be cool is, rather than physics that makes these things actually, like, move over, around, and down, it'd be cool if these were looking like actual gears and they actually make little jutting out things. They actually turned, and that turning motion carried these over and around. And then maybe if we just connect these with a bunch of hinge joints, maybe it'll work. We're gonna see. So to start that process, I guess I just need some kind of physicsy turn script, which does not currently exist, so we're going to have to make one. Conveyor here is just the thing that, yeah, moves stuff forward. Okay. Actually, I think it just moves itself forward based on its so-called speed. Okay, so I guess we're just going to go gear spin. I don't know, whatever. So this also will not spin with transform stuff. It's going to spin with physics. Yeah, of course, these guys. That's more zoomed out than I'd like to be for people to be able to actually read. Okay. So, next, public, float, just turn, speed, it's technically a force, but I'll basically use it. Oh, use here, well, don't forget the rigid body, that's the thing we need. And then go to RB, get the thing. And then I'm thinking that, and all this should mean is basically just RB equals dot add torque. Do I make it relative? I'm gonna, yeah, preemptively go like add relative torques. In theory, I could, you know, turn the conveyor around to be relative to the direction of the gear or whatever. By making the speed negative, then in theory the thing will turn the opposite way. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so add relative torque, turn speed times... Actually, usually I like to have the direction first, so it's going to be like... I don't actually know if it's going to be vector 3 dot... What direction do you need to spin on? You guys. Oh, right, you're all weirdly quaternion. I mean, like... Gridlock? No... I need to like, how's the way that you handle this? Because it's gonna... I mean, I could just make the gear model now and then problem solved. Yeah, I'll just do that real quick. I put it under like I could turn a parrot and then have it be underneath. Well, yeah, I guess I could. Whatever, I'm already in Blender. Let's just make the gear. So I believe that there's a default gear. Now, that's if I import extra collectors. I know there's a thing for gears. I'm just going to use that real quick. There's like a good amount of new version of Blender. I don't have all my the add-ons that I sometimes have. It's like extra objects or whatever. Yeah. You know, turn on the curve one as well for now. Funsies. Okay, so round cube. Oh yeah, for the kind of an automatic saving some time. I'm looking for gears. I don't want to go super complicated, especially just for a test. Especially because I might the space between the gears might actually matter. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. But yeah. Okay. There. For now, I'm gonna purposely go with very few teeth, but then have them go out a lot. Well, okay, do I have one big turny gear, or do I have, like, a couple? For now, I'm just gonna go with the one big one. It'll be easy enough to subdivide if I really need to. Make the sizes actually kind of work. Base. I do want the... I mean, technically it doesn't matter if the base goes all the way in or not. This is more for the aesthetic of it. I would like if these were, like, more straight, if I can help it. That's cool. Not what I want, though. It's gonna be... needs to be sort of straight on. That also cool. Get back to that one. Oh. Oh. That can be nice. Yeah, I prefer if it just kind of, went sort of straight out. Not you. Not, actually, I kind of like that kind of style, maybe. Maybe I do go up to, like... I'll fix it. I don't know if it's going to need more or less. I'm going to get me some nice numbers that might help. 2, 5. I don't. Yeah, oh, you actually are generating mesh stuff on the inside. I don't know if I necessarily want that, but I guess it's not hurting much. Ooh, I mean that's kind of cool, but no, hold on, that's not good. Are you for the sake of the rigid body, the mesh itself needs to be decent. Okay. Is that good for a test? Yeah. Bridge edge loops. That'd be a thing. That's good for a test gear. I'm gonna actually call it conveyor gear. Not that matters really, but. Okay, whatever. Gonna go right here. I'm gonna make a folder for the conveyor stuff. Just conveyor. And then this is gonna be conveyor gear. Okay, back to Unity. We'll see if that works at all. I'm probably gonna have to turn it or whatever, but we'll get there. You're gonna be turned, as I said, by code. I need to make in this project have like import defaults, but whatever, it's fine. Don't gotta worry about that right now. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Let's try you. Oh, I mean, that's massive, but, you know, to be expected. I didn't exactly do a whole lot to line it up. Do you... Oh, yeah, right, hold on. This is going to affect the way that you're turned, which is a little annoying that Blender will do that. I'd prefer if it didn't, but whatever. Okay. The fact that it'll, like, go back and forth if you have a Blender file that has one object versus two, it'll keep being like, oh, I'm one thing, oh, I'm multiple, I'm gonna keep turning and unturning. Wait, so wait, were you? You were, wait, you're already the way that I want you to be, but just not the size, okay. So I want dimensions to be actually, well, two, why do you look squished? I'm sure, yeah, that makes sense. 0.75 or something. This, actually, should it be slightly smaller than it needs to be? I'm still, yeah, working on what the actual size of this actually needs to be, but how are you, am I crazy? This looks taller than it oh, well, you know, I shrunk it, that, you know, makes sense. I'll apply the transform after. So, you know, this, not what I want. I mean, I can have the actual, like, the belt itself be, like, longer. But no, for now, I want to try working around this 1x1 block and shrink the gate itself to match it. It will be easier for right now, just to size this up. I do that, and then it needs to be slightly too small rather than slightly too big, I think. Go apply. And that's not quite good, although the actual belt, and actually I'm fine to delete these now, that's fine. I could have the belt pieces themselves be hugging the line, like the right above here. Why do you think you have different Y values? These have sizes of like 2.1 or whatever. I might want to actually preemptively make them models that are able to have scales of all 1, so that I don't know if that's going to cause any to prevent potential issues. For now, well, we'll do first trial of this without doing that, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So with that, gear over here. These aren't gonna have good UVs and stuff, right? I mean, in terms of if I find conveyor, if I try to put this on, are you gonna? Oh, right, I made it so that UVs don't matter for this. Thing. If I move you, you're the local one, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's looking actually pretty good for that thing. Okay, so right, this isn't actually gonna work yet. Conveyor gear. Put the like, what I call it, spin, gear spin. Yeah. I thought I put a. Oh, I didn't actually finish. Right, I don't know what the turn direction is. It's gonna be on the Z-axis. Use forward. I guess if I'm saying this is gonna go to the left, I guess left can be the. So it is going up can be the sort of default direction, the positive direction. I don't know what this is necessarily gonna be. We're gonna try a 5 and see how that goes. These need rigid bodies. I want a rigid body above the code. There. And then we'll get to these numbers. Other than no gravity for you, these shouldn't move position-wise. They should only spin on the Z-axis specifically. And now these conveyors themselves, they want rigid bodies. They're gonna be able to. I mean, in theory, they should only rotate on the Z. Is there? And your axes are gonna be weird. Well, let me try my first run of this. Let you turn and fall freely. Use gravity. They should kind of... is part of the idea. And then... So... Oh, and then also we're going to get rid of the conveyor code because it's different now. We're going to try potential hinge joints. So... if I basically just have... Are these in order? How did they get so out of order? What? Wait, they're in order by, like, the number of their name for some reason, right? Wait. Never mind. I'm just gonna... It'll be easier to, like, hook up the hinge joints if these are, like, in order. This is gonna be the last one. Oh, that's gonna be the last one. Okay. Yeah, okay, good enough. So now I gotta actually... So, if I don't want to go to the next one or the one before it, I don't know how much that's gonna matter. We're just gonna go the next one, I guess. So, this thing's connected point is... I forget what... I'm very rusty on... Like, I haven't used hinge joints much at all. I just am aware of their existence. So I don't actually know how much setup this actually needs. Except, I do know that I think this will work better if there's sort of... Rather than being two pieces being connected by the center, they're connected here so they can kind of fold that way. Same here, these being folded sort of inwards. I also... Is this going to cause problems if they have weird scales? Maybe I should just... Yeah, do it now because I'm about to do all this setup now, and then I might have to do it again. Might as well, if I do this extra bit now, just make an object that is that size so it has scales of all ones, just so it might be less likely to have weird issues. So this is kind of a or piece, and then this will be easier to, you know, if I potentially swap it out for a more detailed model. I called the parent thing conveyor piece, but I might rename it just conveyor belt. Yeah. Blah. Give it a material, so it's like... I'm going to assume this is not going to be facing the right direction. Look at that. Oh, hey, by doing that, will that fix any of these? Then you're not going to be scaled, so... It actually might. Actually, in theory, I should be able to... So I don't have to reposition them. I can just take this and swap out... but then if I do the more complicated model, it won't look so well. Whatever. Yeah, I don't think I'll be making it more... If I make it a more complicated model, I don't think I'll be introducing more, like, game objects, so it should be fine. This... Wait, not the... this... There piece. Which... But then you all want... Oh, right. Then, as I said, I want scale to be... And now we gotta line it up to be proper again. So what, you're gonna need to rotate like that? Scale and rotation? I think the scale seemed decent. Wait, now are you just too big? Because this should be... Well, this should be, yeah, rotated that way and scaled down. Nope, that way. How about this? Good. Good. Should I make the actual, then, the pivot point of these things themselves off the bottom? Would that be weird? Maybe, no. Have the hinge be here, but the center of the individual ones be their own centers, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how much that's necessarily going to matter, but, you know, we're going to find out. Okay, anyways, that's better, and then the actual, like, texture on it itself just straight up looks better, so win-win. Cool. So we're just going to try... This is connected to, yeah, that rigid body. Your anchor is going to need to be... Can I visualize the anchor? Is it going to be... Wait, the Y. Maybe I should just... Okay. Maybe I work on 2 in isolation rather than setting up things on every single one and then finding out that it's like wrong. We'll take this one, make it kinematic, and then take this. Oh, your box colliders are weird. Okay, let me just write on all of them real quick. Go box collider D. It is harder to see with, if I do this real quick, it is harder to actually see what I'm looking at with all with the way the lighting. It's my own fault. I can't see. That's the collider, is it? Yes, okay. 0.1 and then like 2. That seemed perfect. Yes, and then the Z is gonna need to be... Wait, are you just lined up already? You are. Okay, that's good. So my first test, just the hinge joint itself on one thing is gonna work, is make this kinematic and then make this hinge joint based on this one. This one should remain still, and this should kind of go like, right? That's the plan. We'll see if it works at all. Okay, so... How about before I change any settings, let me just see what the default's gonna kind of look like. Oh, it's gonna... You're gonna put the game view doesn't matter, like, right now, so I'm just gonna put it, like, down here. Because every time I go into play mode, it's gonna keep trying to jump back to that. I just want to see how it's working here. Oops. So it didn't work. Did I... So my first guess is that it's trying to have the sort of hinge be on the middle, and therefore the bottom is kind of hitting off of that. So I just don't know where these shouldn't have, these shouldn't need angular limits in theory, with them the way that they're hooked onto the other ones. They shouldn't break. Enable collision. That's like between bodies connected with a joint. Wait, does that mean you weren't even trying to connect with the one? Wait, no. Can't I? Is there not a way for me to visualize the anchor? And also, can I just not see life ropes, please? Let me first just like, I don't need to see you. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay, no, I see that arrow. Okay, so that's just, yeah, that's gonna have problems. Makes sense that that would be what that do. Axis being the x-axis, that's incorrect, right? Because you should be, wait, these are all rotated. I've just wrote, these should all have rotations of zeros. Well, not entirely actually, because those will be rotated, but not the rotations that they currently have, which will need to be corrected on the Blender side of things. This one, all these up-facing ones should have rotations of zeros, and then everything else should just be rotated on the z-axis. That was part of the entire point of change these in the first place. So these being all zeros, well, technically these ones are going to be like 180 on the z. Let me preemptively do that. So 0, 0, the one on the side here is going to be 0 here, 90 there, and then this should be 0 here, and then like 270 here. To then loop back around to 360, because that's how angles do. Angles do angle things. Okay. Which then means I just do real quick. So far so good on this. We're still kind of doing a lot of the building up to the idea, and then I'm gonna have to see if it's actually gonna work or not. Hold on, wait, this, and then what was it like? Is it this way by any chance? I need to actually apply the things. I'm gonna adjust the rigid bodies as well. Ooh, or the box colliders is the words that I meant to speak. Okay. So let me also actually remove these hinge joints for the moment, because I don't know if that's gonna be messing with it. Yes, because then I'll make one when one is working, then I'll just copy, paste the settings onto the other, which means I might actually just duplicate one and then reposition it. We'll see. That might be faster. We'll see. Okay, so on Actually, on all of them, I now need to just reposition the box slider again. In theory, wait, shouldn't I be able to just go off of the size here? 1, 0, 1, 2. 1, 0, 1, 2. Hey, what do you know? Wait, right? Is that correct? Double check. Seems correct to me. Yeah! Using knowledge of how stuff works. I don't know how high the mass and stuff will need to be. We'll see. Why is the default mass of these, like, really tiny? I don't know. I'm going to put in a mass of 1 to start. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's try this again. Hinge, joint, connect your body being this second piece, and then the thing that it makes, this thing. So you are going to hinge on the z-axis in theory, and then being on there, you're going to be, whoa. Where'd you go? You're not moving the Z, moving the, what, the X? Yeah. 0.5 is that. It's really hard to see, even for me. So on the stream, I imagine it's completely invisible. Where'd it go? It's there, this tiny little arrow right here. Oh boy. Okay, so that's not all. Oh, surprise! In the dark, it's actually easier to see. So it's there, and then I want to move it down. Barely anything. 0. What? You negative. Negative is the numbers. So there we go. So hinging on there, it should is the plan. Will it though? Is the question. Let's see. Yes. Now, one thing is the FPS of it is like bad. I've noticed that in general, for some reason in Unity, when you try having the game and scene view going at once, it doesn't like to do super well. If I do this manually, yeah. So like the FPS of it is fine. It's just game view likes it. Isn't there a way to have it not like auto try to play unfocused? Yeah. Not try to auto switch every time. Yeah. I think that was it. Okay, cool. So initial. I mean, okay. One hinge connected is working all right. My worry is that when we connect multiple, that it's just going to kind of implode on itself. We're gonna see if that is what happens. Okay, so what next? Oh, blah. So this is working? Yeah. Next is, I guess, just another one. So can this connect to this and then have another one? Well, no, I don't want to duplicate these. I mean, at this point, I could maybe move them down. I also, actually, wait, before I go any further, I did just notice these gears were turning themselves way too fast. I don't know what degree you should be having, like, drag and stuff, but... I mean, these should have a lot of, like, oomph to their own turning, that they should be turning these without much problem. So how about I, like, up the drag, up your masses, and then, like, make this more. So if it, maybe that'll help. I can make the masses infinity. I know that's the thing I can do, but for now, I will try not doing that. Okay, so... okay, so, wait, so that worked, which means that if I want to now connect it, let's just go straight down to this, and then say... Actually, well, let me just see what happens if this... on top of that gear, what's that gonna do? These don't have colliders. Right, so these can get away with box colliders. If these were just spheres, before I make this have a mesh collider, I just want to see what happens with if it has a capsule collider. With Z-axis and then I'm gonna purposely have this like overextend. It shouldn't matter for. I just want to test with. I want to test with both, with a capsule collider, and then see what it looks like with a. See what it looks like with a capsule collider. See what it looks like with a Okay, I mean that was cool to watch, but with a more physical collider, and then yeah. Okay, so this, these both have the same so-called force. If this infinite, and then turn speed. So, well, okay, so I guess not infinite. I'll have to play around with it. I'll have to play around with it. I know you can like use add torque with like a set velocity thing, and we'll see how necessary it is. The idea that some gears can kind of like lag a bit could be kind of just look visually interesting. But you know, we'll see how much of that we can do and have this not implode. I'm also gonna close that. Okay. So this is a thing. Obviously, so this isn't moving super much because, well, yeah. I meant to turn that off in a different order, but. Because this one being, you know, rigid for right now. So next step, I guess, is to just attempt to connect them all, which we're going to see how that goes. So this, paste it onto here, with your connected rigid body being the next one. See, now this is good that now that they're in order. Is there an easy way for me to not have to do this 10 times? I mean, I think it'd be faster rather than copy pasting, it'd be faster for me to, because these things are so similar, to just go duplicate over. Haha, not before I add the hinge joint itself. Then those will be fine to chain. Let me double check that. Like, there's nothing else I really need to change on these. We'll see. I mean, I can shift select them once they're like all on. But blah. Wait, I could have just... Well, no, see, I didn't want to just shift select and then... Wait, no, can I shift select and then paste? Actually, why did I... Hold on, let me back up. Like, yeah. I'm going for the potentially dumb solution when I could be going for the smaller solution. Why I know I can shift select and add a component, but then they have the default settings. Can I just... Yeah, duh. They're not having the right, connected rigid body, but that's something we can change. So... Connect to the next, this connect to the next, this one should be connected to you, and this one should be connected to you, and this one to mouse, this one to you, this one. Good that this isn't just a super long conveyor belt, if that was the case. Surely there's a more, like, if I need to connect, like, 100-piece bridge together, surely there's a more, like, elegant way of doing that. But, okay, let's see if this works. I'm expected to just implode. So either I didn't attach them right, or, it just didn't. So this is, I have... Yeah. Again, I don't worry about blocking the screen anymore, so that's awesome. I mean, it could be... I don't need two hinge joints to be like, connect to the one in front of you and the one behind you, do I? I thought that that wasn't a thing that I needed. But I mean, I'll show you. Let me just... Oh, I don't know how I missed this one. Yeah, so I missed any part of the chain, it's just not gonna, function how I want it to, so... Hopefully it's just I missed one other. I'm worried that, like, this one broke. Maybe, like... I don't know if I'll need to, I don't know, just connect, like, the two end ones to each other or something. No, even those broke. Wait, what? I mean, they're turning around the gears, kind of. Wait, did I adjust these settings and then go out of play mode? Ideally, yeah, nothing should stop the gears. Very little. If they're slowed slightly, that'd be kind of cool, but nothing should significantly stop them. Well, this is a problem. Damn it. Kind of hoping this would just work. So why are you specifically having such an issue? Can I, like... So I guess because... So and one thing I could do is have a physics material with high friction, because that's kind of... I mean, if I'm going for the sphere approach, that's part of what would be potentially happening. Like, that would help that work. But then there's the... if I go a step further, and let's just try a mesh collider. I could make it convex. I was curious of what it's going to look like. Makes it like an octagon. Hexagon. It's 6, so it's being a hexagon. Let me try the convex way, and then see what that does, and then try the non-convex way. So... That's something. There it goes. I was about to say, like, hey, it's not breaking. So, I mean, one thing is if it physically is going slower, it might be less likely to break. Let me go back to this being not convex. Do I need all the collisions on this stuff to be set to, like, continuous or something? Maybe they'll be less likely to be that funky. I also did not look at these. If I know spring is a thing where it allows them to separate slightly. If I allow that to happen just a little bit, actually, you know, it might be less likely to glitch out like that if it just has a little bit of like leeway, or it's allowed to be a little bit separate. Why? Turn off use spring as a starting thing. Do you not work with, like, non-convex mesh collider? Right. Really? I forgot that that's a thing. So, I mean, okay, one, if I really want the notched out gears, I could whip up this just being, like, a bunch of primitive colliders all mushed together. Now we'll see if I can get away with just the not being that way, and then I could maybe design new gears that kind of, you know, work with more convex collider. The how the gears appearance look isn't as important as, like, if I can get away with it better functionality. Okay, so it really does not like. Right, it's right. So if they have that springiness to them, they're just going to potentially separate more. Oh boy. Wait, no, I didn't have the spring. So why are you in such a hurry to okay, so the gears, the turning isn't quite being how I want. So let me just for the moment go force mode velocity change. Do the one that uses the mass. So it's like yeah, velocity change. We'll do that, but then this gonna be a lot lower the mass than it's gonna use its mass. Actually, I don't know exactly what that's gonna do, but let's find out. Why are you turning it different? Oh, because I didn't. So I want these to turn super slow in theory. 0.1. Just. I mean, right now, for in a moment, I could make them. Okay, even at 0 they break. That's a whole separate thing. That let me just for a minute, because that is just its own problem that maybe I look at first. With all these set to 0, with the gears themselves not moving, you know, this shouldn't happen. So that's problem to sort out first. So the first thing is that it could just be that there is too much. Like, I'm fine with there being a little bit of slack in the thing itself, like this, you know, dipping and whatnot. I said that was okay. Ooh, right, even that trying to dip in doesn't exactly love that. So what happens if I were to take all of these and... Oh, wait, local... If I purposely introduce a little bit of slack, and then if something like this works, then wait, how do you know? I don't know when you got a Y height that wasn't one there, but okay. If I purposely do this, wait, is the anchor point still gonna? I don't know if the anchor point itself is gonna. I'm gonna potentially correct that, but let's just find out. So, okay, why do you not... You are said to be a hinge joint on this one. Wait, no, this one. So why do you just, like, not... let me just for a minute... Actually, let me try two things. One... I'm trying to see, maybe I can introduce, like, make the thing longer. I mean, how about, so if I'm trying to make it, like, so it has more wiggle room, let me just decrease the size of the gears. If I can do it on the correct axis. Oh, the gears weren't even as long as they need to be. Yeah, I'd rather them go slightly over, I think. See if that kind of gives it more room to breathe. Okay, so I mean that one connected. It's just this one that isn't. So it's like, oh, I was hoping that this would work. This is potentially going to, yeah, introduce problems. So why? You're not even like trying. I mean, okay. When I did it manually, it worked. Maybe I just make one of the gears. If I turn one of the gears on now and say spin, you be not kinematic anymore. Okay. Okay, well, let me immediately do that to the next one. No! Get back up there, you. Get back around. So, do I need to... Okay, so I didn't mess at all with, like, the limits and stuff. Do I do that? I don't know. I guess I don't fully know how to best configure these. Probably should if I'm gonna do that. Contact distance?
Setting the slow can cause jittering but runs fast. Setting high can reduce jittering but runs the solver more often.
What happens if I enable collision? Will that, like, do things that I want? Why? Why do you do this? Okay, maybe now that when I decrease the gears, let me maybe go back to 1. So wait. Oh, the last one isn't wait, or no, that's not the last one, but the hinge joint isn't. Why? What? How did? Oh, some of the just hinge places aren't set up correctly. I assume they would be. No idea why they necessarily aren't. Dude, that's that connected to this one. You're up here. How are you there? What? Oh, I assume that you'd go off the rotation of the thing. Super weird that you don't, actually. I rotate you and you don't... Oh, wait, what the heck is that now? Why do you have... Why do you have 2? I can't see the other ones. What's that second one? What? What are you versus what is this? Excuse me? If I just remove this for a second, they're gonna both go away? Yeah, okay. Like... But even, like, neither of them are so-called correct. If I do this is here. I want to go in... I guess 90 is going up. Fine. Negative 90. If that's the game you want to play. These ones are fine. Which, I mean, I guess if I'm gonna make sure that the turning is, like, correct, I'm gonna go negative 180, which is, like, I know that that's, like, the same thing, but I'm just gonna do that anyway. And then this should be basically, yeah, negative 270, be going that way around. Might have to make other changes. Yeah, you have a thing there and a thing up there. Yeah, because you have connected anchor as a thing. Auto configure connected anchor. That's, okay, so is that like the other... You figuring out what the anchor is of the rigid body that you're connected to, and some of the auto generation stuff is fine. Yeah, you're that one. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to have to potentially define some of these manually. Great. I mean, I basically just want them to match, is all I really want. So I guess it's the 991. Out there, you think that's a good idea? Now that I moved it, you tried to... Okay, I guess you just moved on top of it. Sure. Are you also moved out some weird amount? I mean, yeah, this number ain't correct if I try to, like, randomly do this, figure yourself out. No. Okay, I'll do it for you. I guess. Wait, this should be the same, right? Wait, how are you down there? Yeah, okay, hold on. Maybe this can still work if I correct all of these. Wait, are you this one? How? Or the negative went away. I may have undone that or something. That might have been my bad. And you're over there. Okay. Yeah, ideally the... Wait, I don't know where I actually went. Whatever, I'll place you manually just so I know you're going to be somewhat correct. Why is, Oh, connected anchor, you're actually going off of the other one. Yes. And then this one, are you good still? Seems like it, maybe. Let's try again. Maybe it'll work correctly. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's connected. Yes! Well, we'll see in a moment when my heart breaks, when this implodes again, but for right now, it's connected. Oh! Yes! Booyah! Alright, no way it's gonna work, but I just make these bigger. Now is when we sort of stress test of what... Yes! Haha! I was getting so worried that wasn't working. I'd have to mangle some custom coded thing. Yeah, this isn't how fast it's gonna be, but if it's working this fast, I don't know if cubes on top of it are gonna work in the slightest, but let's get one of them and just drop it on top just for funsies. So I'm expecting this to probably have problems more with the cube itself, but let's go back. Oh right, the floor doesn't have floor. Because it didn't need it because none of the cubes like fell on it or whatever. I mean, I can box collider aren't gonna be that bad on performance, but woohoo! Yeah, it did break. Wait, are they going? Is this actually moving off the side? That's kind of funny, but that shouldn't happen. Oh my god, I'm so happy it's working. On one hand, it looks very cool, and on the other hand, it's not imploding on itself. Yes. Woo! Unity physics. Yes, alright. Now the question is, how do we, use this thing properly? I just want to see it, break on itself now if I... Well, okay, it makes sense if I can't, I can't catch up with one of these if I wanted to. Woo! Is this gonna... Yeah! Look at it! It's cool! It's cool! Look at that! This is awesome! Alright. See, this right here, this, physics just doing crazy physics thing. This is what I want the, cool down there stuff, animation stuff to be, is to utilize what can't as easily be done in Blender. And yeah, I know Blender has, Blender has things... What? Wait, I turned off the box collider on you, but not on you. Okay, also you're weirdly moved to the side when you don't need to be. I know Blender can do physics simulations and stuff, but, also... This is cool. Does Blender have hinge stuff? Surely, I think it does. I've done a little bit of physics stuff in Blender years and years ago, towards the beginning of my Blender career. Not so much recently. But yeah, it's working! Okay, let's get this back now to, this being a more default size. Actually, so now just to, I guess, test some limits. I'm curious what happens if this is like too big. Will this make it implode, or will it still somehow... Ah! So, like, yeah, obviously this is not good. I'm surprised that it's still, you know, sticking together at all. So, I consider this a win. And then if I try to turn it with it being that big, it actually then isn't super, like, as glitchy as, you know, I'd maybe expect it to be. Obviously, this is bad. Oh, it's cool that, I mean, this wasn't like a, with the way that it's kind of like hugging the collider bits of the gears. Oh, it escapes. Look at that, it's so cool. Oh, yeah, see, this is the kind of stuff that is very cool to do in Unity. Look at that, it's cool. It's super cool. It was a pain to set up, and that's like an unfortunate thing. If I want to make more of these, having to manually set up hinge joints like that every time would suck. Unless, like, I write code that, like, on start, generate a bunch of hinge joints and then, like, do stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. Can you spawn a hinge joint, like, on, like, mid-game? Or will that not work? I don't know. I know you can break hinge joints on purpose. Like, and then, well, you could break hinge joints by just deleting the colliders, but yeah, I know that that's a thing that you can do. Let me do, for this, as cool as that all was, what? I was about to say, let's freeze its location. Let's not, actually, just for now. I mean, if I really want to make sure it doesn't escape, I could actually make it a collider that goes up or whatever. Having some of that stuff happen through actual physical things happening would be cool. Because if these were purposely longer, it could like shift back and forth a little bit as long as it doesn't fully escape. Like, the idea of that happening is kind of cool. Okay, so I don't actually want the gear to be turning that fast, but yeah. Also, I guess I'll put these under the conveyor piece. So in theory, if that's working, actually I should make this a prefab before too much longer, because now we can potentially make more of them. Actually, rather than conveyor piece, like, yeah, it's a piece of a conveyor belt, but it's not like, I consider the individual block a piece. I can make each one a different color. That would be also cool. Conveyor belt. Let's, actually, let me just do that right now for funsies. Well, I mean, okay, then I have to, like, will these work? I mean, even just, like, literally just, here's one that's different. To be like, it's, you know, rickety, old, broken thing is kind of cool. Well, okay, now if I put too much, then it's like, yeah, weird. But and just two, just. Now, actually, I don't know how the bottom of this is actually gonna play with the ground. Down there. Oh, lightning strikes. Hello. What are you making now? Sorry if I didn't see your message. I don't know how old that message is. Whoops. I guess I haven't been looking at chat in a little bit. We're making conveyor belts, and they're awesome. They're not turning. I was getting actually like worried, like, oh god, no, this isn't working. What if this like, oh, I didn't. The gears themselves are still kinematic, but it looks cool. It's super cool. I don't know if you saw it a couple seconds ago when it was working, but I was extra worried because it wasn't working for a little bit. Okay, that's too fast. But look at it! Actually, it's squishy against the floor. I wasn't sure how it would behave with the floor, and if we need to purposely have it be off the ground a little bit. Now. Yeah, or that's so cool. It's super cool. So like, literally the application of it's going the wrong way. No, we're gonna flip around the cubes coming from the other direction. The application of this is literally down there. Imagine how much cooler it'll look for those same cubes to be doing this. And what makes it extra cool is to not just have this be one long thing, but just to have. Okay, I'm surprised that like kind of worked. You know, have a bunch of bashing together. You know, so without that step, ooh, that is a little bit of a. I mean, ideally, it'd be nice if I could sort of copy these around nicely. You know, ignoring the stuff that's like kind of breaking, but just the idea. Actually, what's really funny is I can smush you against a wall. I can no, get back here. Oh, I love it. I love this so much. Yes, I've missed this. Alright, this is cool. This is so cool. This is so cool! Alright, yes. Cool, awesome. The only thing that's right now a little bit sucky is just to modify these, make more longer ones. It just, modifying the hinge joints is not amazing. But yeah, just having a bunch of these going down and then the cubes going between them. I might have to implement more anti-falling off measures, making a tank game. Right, these could be on the movement of an actual tank. Yeah, which would be cool. Which, you know, I didn't even think of that idea, so maybe that is something we could do at some point, mess around with. Add it to the list. But yeah, this is super. Oh my god! You know how? So in any tank game, I'm sure they don't. Like the tank doesn't actually. So in real life, tank move because of this. In any game form, where you have a tank, the tank doesn't actually move because of the belt. It'd be like, oh, the tank moves forward, and then it's just the illusion of an animating tank belt or whatever. If we made a tank thing that like somehow this actually physically moves the tank. Yeah, it doesn't have a physically based movement. Yeah. And even, like, this didn't have to, right? Like, I'm aware that usually when you have conveyor belts in games, you just fake it as much as you can. The point of this was for funsies, let's make it physics, because physics is fun. And cool when it's working like this. But if we then made a tank that, like, actually somehow worked with this, like somehow this, like the physics of this doing, like physically moved the tank forward, I don't know how that would work. Actually, I mean, what happens if I make the, wait, what's stopping the, oh right, the mass is stopping them from falling. If I turn down the mass, oh, it escaped. Oh no, well, oh right, because the mass is in, I'm gonna, for the moment, I'm just gonna change this to dot velocity so that the I can change the mass, and because the mass doesn't really matter for that. I'm curious to see if totally doable. Yeah, would be. Oh god, too fast. I'm just interested in seeing if this will work in a minute. Literally this can this. Oh, it needs to be slow, otherwise it's definitely not gonna work. Can this be effectively a vehicle? What did that not do? I wanted to see if this can move. Wait, why are they not moving? I froze all of your things. All right, go. Vehicle. I mean, you know, if it like they'd have to like stick being however far apart, but movement, it works. Yeah, put a gun on top of that. There you go. I mean, actually, so I mean, one, you may have like 2 tank charts, but if you literally, how could you make this a player somehow? I don't know how that would work, but some game where literally this is, but faster and more controlled. Oh, hey, there's some of the cubes over here. Oh, I wanted to randomize the sizes of these slightly, because that's just an extra thing that just adds slightly more variation. Even if there's just 1 gear, let me just, for the moment, just to see what happens. If this was smaller, 1 gear that's just, it's trying its best. I think you like 10. Like, so obviously, I mean, this isn't like fully working. I'm just messing around. Try 4 gears. Yeah, if it fully covered the whole, like, oh god, I didn't even have to reposition them. They just did. I mean, yeah, I guess. Let me just pull you back before you go off the edge, and then we'll mess around some more. Oh no, that ruined it more. No. Where do you, wait, why are you not falling? What? Are you, wait. What's keeping you? Oh wait, when did you get frozen again? Oh, that was maybe messing with some of it. Okay, so we'll go back to doing actual stuff and like the what this was for in a second, but definitely keeping that as idea in back pocket. Okay, so okay. I wanted this at like just messing around. This unfreeze all of those. We'll see if that actually works and stuff, and then let's see what happens if I unfreeze everything. Surely this is the conveyor itself is just going to kind of escape immediately, but I'm curious what's going to happen. Oh right, I didn't put 4 in there, but oh yeah, I mean of course they escape. But oh, use gravity and then like. Okay, it doesn't last that long. Yeah, they would need to be more confined. Like I could do that. In theory, it's doable, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just messing around. Let me go back to just they can't move on the Z-axis and just then see what happens. Let them move up and down a little bit, but yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, it's still kind of the fact that it's rotating weirdly. Oh god. I mean. Oh god, and now they keep going because they can only rotate, they can only go on the Z. Look at this one, it's just, yeah, alright, they're trying their best. And away it goes! Bye! The dancing gears dancing away. It's fascinating, it makes sense with the way that I made this, I guess, but it's fascinating the way that this, like, perfectly collapses. Until it doesn't, Jesus. Okay. So I guess it makes sense that it doesn't like for me to try to move this, but you know, not gonna stop me from doing that anyway. Okay, I mean now it's not working so nice, but it's interesting that before it was. Yeah. Okay. Woo! All right. That's awesome. I like that. Maybe. So I mean, okay, like. Conceivably turning this into an actual tank thing might be hard, but maybe we could play around with something like that at some point. But that's not what we're here to actually do. Let me, I need to bring this back into fully working real quick. So the gears themselves not actually moving. Technically, they're not even supposed to turn on the other axes. Or these one, the Z again, yeah. Back to working town. I'll just get back to this one conveyor working. And then we're just gonna set up how that is down there. The speed. The speed needs to also be manageable. Am I actually on both of these? Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll figure out also that in but a moment. Even that is... Why is one going so much faster than the other? Did I not specifically... I thought... I mean, so, like, I can do this, like, without... Like, I want them to kind of be consistent. I know you can directly set the velocity. I wanted it to be, like, pure physics of not that way. Okay, I guess that works. Wait, are you completely stopped? Just making sure. Yeah, you're good, okay. Yeah, I wanted this on top. The very, like, the dip in the middle, the kind of bounciness on top or whatever. It's interesting that's being perfectly flat all on the bottom, which makes sense. I could raise you up a little bit and maybe get a little bit more variance out of that. Now, like, nothing with a game has to be physically, like, accurate, whatever, but, I mean, it would be kind of cool to have it not just be floating conveyor belts. Like, if I'm gonna have it be off the ground, have something that looks like it's, I don't know, connected to the wall, or that goes, like, out and down into the floor, or whatever. Even though it's entirely, like, it's not necessary, but, like, something I potentially want to do just because, for the funsies. I don't know if I also want to put anything just to make sure that the conveyor belt won't, like, leave the gear, but... For now, it seems to be stable. We'll see if, when we have the actual blocks on it, if that's going to be a problem. Yeah. We'll try... being slightly up. Yeah, let's match it perfectly with that, just for funsies. Yeah. I made you a prefab. Did I not make you a prefab? What? Did I thought I made you a prefab? Okay, maybe I was about to, and then I was like, let's make some small changes. Okay, have you be a prefab, and then, oh, I might do more with the actual textures on it. I could put the same thing that's like on the cube. The cubes have a thing where like, when you go into play mode, they like randomize between having some different textures. Actually, I mean, it's literally, no. So I say, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna, and then here, watch me do anyway. So you can make prefabs within prefabs. Should I make each conveyor piece its own, like... No, whatever. I want to just see if I can do it clever using of my own code without having to make more code. So color... What's the code I have that's like randomized color? Randomized material is the one. Be like... So here's the idea. Here's the idea. I need just to make some materials real quick. Conveyor, I'm gonna actually put this in zone. Conveyor materials, or whatever. Put this guy in here. Make some variations. So I have the sort of the default blue one, and yeah, okay. Blah 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 blah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't need that many. Hold on, let me not go as overboard as I'm trying to right this second. Make a green one, a yellow one. Make a pure black one just because, and then like maybe just the same color but slightly darker. Slight thing. Now here's the extra clever idea. Rather than each one of these being completely random, I kind of like the idea that most of them are the same, but there's the occasional one. Sometimes that's like weird and off. I think that might look more interesting. Oops, that's not what might look more interesting than just just cycling between those. So my idea is I do this, but then, and this could definitely be coded better, but for the sake of just reusing code, is that then I just have, I then have extra instances of the sort of clean version. So just by how randomness works, it's then more likely to pick the one I want. Now again, I could totally be like, I could write custom code to be like, oh, use this one 90% of the time, but occasionally use this other one. But actually, then as an extra thing, I'm gonna put like 2 instances of the darker one. And I should actually name these, but whatever, it's fine. Did I actually put the code on the things? I did, yeah. So now, in theory, and then there's 2 things we get out of this. One, words. There's 2 things we get out of this. One, it just gets to look different. But 2, when we have multiple of these, each one is going to be randomized slightly differently. Yeah. Although I did just, even in just what I was just seeing before my very eyes, I want more of this one, I think. Just have it be it should be like 90% this one, and then let me just double check also what this one's looking like. Yeah, it's like a slight variance. Maybe I'll make that more apparent. But okay, so now with that in place, I could even have like there's a single one that doesn't have it on it, so there's guaranteed to be one that's normal, but no. Overrides apply, just making sure that I'm not messing anything up. And as a starting test, let's then just okay, I shouldn't. So well, I was about to say now as a starting test, let's duplicate these. The one slight issue is they don't mesh together like this. I don't have to. I think I would like if 2 of these could be side by side and I don't have to like I can have them be consistent and I don't have to specifically be like, oh, what's gonna work? Well, I mean, okay. I mean, I say that. Let me just see. Let me just have one test at not doing that real quick. If I just specifically go, it's over in a block. I guess because this isn't that hard to space out. The thing is, I need the cubes themselves to actually make it across. You're going way too fast again. What happened? Can I not increase you? If I do that, then I'm gonna apply it pretty fast. Because they need to, I want them to be going slow. I could also have it where some go slightly faster. Okay, I need to just, I guess, manually go in, find, like, easier to mess around, find the right numbers when it's... 0.2. So 0.1 was too bad, but 0.2 is just enough to be good. Okay, I guess if that's what you want. I can have the 2 gears be slightly different, but then I don't know if that's going to be... the problem if I make something like slightly faster and some slightly slower or whatever, there's then the potential problem of that some will not... oh, actually, before I go... There's the problem that some will, I don't want there to be like a choke point of like a bunch of cubes sort of piling up, I guess. Let me just, have one of these that's just gonna drop onto this at the start just to, see, because like that's more important, is that like, the cubes themselves actually go across the conveyor belt good. Oh right, you still have the thing that like randomizes your rotation. Unsure. Okay, the cubes shouldn't be... These were meant to be for more... I know I could hard code the velocity, but I was trying to hope that I could like have it still be through the add relative torque. So there can be maybe, you know, from stuff hitting it, it has that very slight slowdown or speed up, but it wasn't supposed to be that much. I want it to be, for the most part, like it's going at that speed and you're not stopping it really. Which I thought velocity change was going to kind of do that. And I could. Nah. I'll just focus on this one conveyor belt for right now, change its things, and then apply it to the others. And yeah. Okay. That's a little bit better. It is actually maybe a bit small. I might widen the conveyor belt itself. I know the whole thing I said about the physics having to be like all 1-1-1'd. That's like super wide though. Cool if the middle kind of dipped. I mean, I could shrink the cubes themselves. Maybe the cubes could be not as big, and then I could actually have the camera itself just be closer to the action. But then the conveyor belts themselves are long. Unsure. Okay, is that 3 that are all perfectly? No. Oh, right. If you're smaller, then you won't make it across. Oh no. So now we deal with the funkiness of that. I want multiple conveyor belts. We gotta now fine tune a whole bunch of stuff just to make sure that they all make it. Because even that's not exactly great. well, hold on. I did make some changes to this one that when I apply to the others, might affect things a little bit. But ideally, like in an ideal world of how I wanted this to be set up, I could have each conveyor belt be along just a 4x4 thing. So if I say there's maybe a problem with the conveyor belts, each one being too long, if I now make it sort of work with this, then maybe that'll fix that problem. So let me actually go open, then actually apply to the others. If I just do a simple moving these in, the problem is I can't as easily move the belts themselves. If I go into, hold on. Go into playing with this, then yeah, these are gonna be all stuck in each other. I really don't want to have to. If I move you in, I then have to like reposition all the stuff, and I don't want to do that in theory. So if I don't want to do that, then maybe I do just have to suck up taking the overall thing and shrinking it slightly on multiple axes so everything's still proportionally good, and do that until this works, and then be like, yeah, good enough. Oh, hold on, let me actually. Oh, I mean, okay, that's all that really took. So, like this is a little bit of an issue. When those rub together, that's not ideal. Let me just, maybe I go just a little bit smaller, like 0.85. And you know what, just for right now, I will also just make the Z, the X, no, what was the Z, yeah. I mean, 1.5 or something. Make it a little bit longer for the moment. I could mess with the materials and stuff later after this is working. You do get very off to the side. I could put in little walls, like I can, nothing's stopping me from doing that, but it'd be nice if it was more going to work. I don't like how much each one is getting, like it's getting stuck in the in-betweens. I wanted there to maybe a little bit of a dip, but not like that much. What? I mean, let me just see if I literally just have tiny conveyor belts, but the giant cube. I mean, yeah, now you'll, yeah, so now you'll make it across. So it is a matter of like the size of the gap versus the size of the cube. So, I mean, if I do that and then make everything rather than making the cube bigger, let's say try to make it work with so the cube being if I make this relatively smaller, we'll say, yeah, we'll have for now have it like go out the same amount. And then ideally, yeah, that's it. The cube kind of being the same size. Then, I mean, even if I do this, then I can have it go like 2 down. And I don't know if that will have interesting results. And then this goes every 2. Well, wait. There's 2 on the spot, but I can also just go blarg. Do I have anything to still commit? No. Not commit. Apply to the prefab. We'll go 1 back as well, just in case it like rolls back. Let's try this. I could also, if I really wanted to, have it be like 2 wide by going this way, but which does have some interestingness to it. But ideally, I don't know. Ideally, I maybe don't want that. Oh, although having like 2 beside each other, doing that is interesting. Because I shrunk you, the physics does seem to be behaving a bit differently. Let me just spawn more of these. That actually, I mean, I could potentially now also modify the block generator thing to be spawning a bunch up rather than a bunch over to the side, and have them, yeah, basically just, well, they fall in really fast. I have to make sure they fall at a rate where they don't all get here so fast. Let me watch that again. I'm still not sure if I'm happy with the actual dimensions of the conveyor belt, but it does feel like, so it feels like the cubes themselves do a bunch of like initial tumbling and then kind of sort themselves out and then are sort of good. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, a lot of that is just from them banging on each other, which, you know, in theory might not be happening. Is the physics the same every time? I'm just curious of that. I assume probably no, right? But let me just, I'm curious if is the exact same, like that cube falling off that way? I mean, if it's not exactly the same, it doesn't matter that much. I mean, maybe if it's not the exact same physics happening every time, it'd be harder to, you know, have it loop or whatever. But other than the cheating by just waiting until there's no cubes on screen, and then that's where it cuts. Okay, so okay, the camera itself, I think, needs to also, like, is gonna probably change for this. So how do I want to do this? It's extra, like, weird, not weird. It's a thing that I'm. All right, I can change this, the field of view. That I'm effectively designing an animation not for a 16:9 screen, but by a 200 pixel tall by 1920 pixel wide sort of space, with maybe using the area up here, but like not counting on it. And I can have it maybe more like, yeah, flat or whatever, but I want to use the 3D-ness of it. Oh god, wait. This screen thing has a box collider on it that's unaccounted for. I should potentially turn these into just like sprites that are anchored with the camera, but they don't do anything for the animation. They're just reference points for me, for where the things are. So I'm not gonna work on that now, but yeah. So in terms of this. That, like, I could have this be viewing this, you know, head on, and, you know, maybe that has benefits. But looking slightly up could work potentially, because then you get more of like stuff falling. I wanted more of the 3D-ness, and I like the, you know, the slight turn or whatever helps, I think. Again, so ignoring the cubes, or that's like intersecting with stuff. I don't think I like the, as I said, the dimensions of the conveyor. Then I want to try to, if I'm to modify it, do it without, like, having to mess with the hinge joints as they currently are. These being quite big is kind of cool, though. Can I go back to, So first before I go, I guess much further, I don't think I want the 2 layers. I want to make it work with 1 layer, I believe. Maybe I could find a bit of a in between where instead of being too wide, it somehow is able to be 3 wide. Well. Wait, that's not what I wanted. I went the other way. Hold on. Make these 1 and then turn. No, turn you on and then go. Not and divided by 3 times whatever. There was math in there to have done it all in one calculation, but whatever, it's fine. If I did that, and then is that? I mean, so it's really wide, but maybe the fact that I made it wider. Maybe the fact that I made it wider, going back to kind of what I had initially, will potentially work better. Just it being a size of 1 is the covering a thing of like 4, right? Then not having to be that wide now. If I go back to pure 1, right? This is what we started with. Let me just kind of revisit that. I think, yeah, as I'm resizing this, I'm gonna have to just. Why are these? Oh, those are the blocks themselves. While I'm messing with this, I'm definitely going to have to keep like deleting and then probably repositioning the conveyors themselves. But like, yeah, like this looked nice. I should also, okay, technically the material on this is wrong. Where is not models, conveyor materials. Technically this is, I got one that actually matches the size, which I guess I could purposely have one that doesn't match for the sake of like just because, but for now it's fine. So I went with the green. Maybe it could be cool to go for my actual logo colors with the cyan, magenta, yellow kind of a thing. Get that branding in there. And then even this one, go the slightly bit towards. Just, it's cyan with the touch towards aqua, turquoisey color, but like not too much, just barely. Maybe I'll make this also just a little bit darker, a little bit more obvious. Make one of these. Actually have the darker one. As the like, this is more like the temp, because it all gets replaced when you go into play mode. I actually quite like how the magenta adds color. Okay, so again, the problem with this one is that it doesn't like mesh well having 2 apart. But like, I mean, can I figure out like, okay, how far apart does it need to be to both have the cubes? I'd like to like size all this relative to the cubes being a size of 1. Like I could. Oh, I didn't position those good. Right. Also with enough cube. Okay. These cubes also need to be like a lot higher, even just for a test. Because it's not a good test if they're bumping into each other that much, I guess. Which, yeah. Anyway, that's just a yeah. Okay, so, but again though, like, 1, can these cross each other well enough, and 2, like, without adding guardrails, I can add guardrails, but before I add potential guardrails, how likely are they to fall off? And I could restrict, actually, okay, as just a test, because I'm curious just what this would look like. I'm expecting this to not look super good. If I freeze the cube's ability to move on the z-axis, what does that look like? If I effectively 2D the animation on purpose. So they still look like, oh, they bounce around in turn, but is it obvious that it's like trying to move on the Z but being incapable of doing so? Not necessarily. Interesting. I like the idea of if I can not have to forcefully add guardrails. So the problem is when these bits collide, it's not great. This cube being, like right now, is literally struggling to cross. Actually, I wonder if it's hitting off of here is causing a bit of an issue. Let me just, as a test. Yeah, it's not great how much they bump against each other. And potentially that could maybe remedy if I made more of these panels, like if they were actually like this wide. I don't want to do that right now. with the hinge colliders the way that they are, and how tedious it is to set all that up. Unless I wrote code to like custom like be spawning in my planks and going around and automatically hooking up the hinge colliders and whatnot. But that's also would take. Okay, so let's try the skin basically. Even actually. Yeah, I'm liking that camera angle less. I could have be more top-down. That's also an option, but we'll see. So this is 0.5 away, 0.75 away. Let's see what that does. Yeah. Just playing around, which it would be kind of annoying to have to place them like that. And again, I could have code do it, but. Okay, I mean, I don't know if I love that, you know, so if one cube is pushing the thing to the next, then I don't have confirmation that one cube can make it on its own. So, whoa, wait. Oh, I completely forgot that one thing I meant to do ages ago is friction stuff. Have I made any physics materials in this project? I forget if I have. I meant to make, just making the conveyor bits themselves actually have more friction. That might actually solve my problem. Physics material, physics material, physics material, physics material. Where am I? Why am I not seeing? Down here. There you go. I'm just gonna call it friction. I'll make a folder for. You're not gonna go in normal in the materials folder. You're like you share part of a name, but you're for an entirely different purpose. Let me just try immediately going all the way up to like maximum. And do I want the cubes and do I want the cubes to also have like this high friction? I'm just thinking of like other things. If the cubes are going to interact with anything other than these, like if a cube falls off and were to slide across the floor, it'd be cool. I think these crates for them to slide a little bit, perhaps. So, but the conveyor belt. So what I'll do just quickly go. I don't even need it on the gears. Just each conveyor, just drag and drop this. There's a place where you can drag like what the default physics material is, but for now I'll just do that. I set the combined thing to maximum, so it should do that anyway. You kind of don't bounce as much as you did before. I don't know if that's a problem. Even just like having increased the friction. I maybe don't need to make it completely one. Oh, are you still gonna have an issue? I mean, you got there eventually. I just don't want to have a big pile up is my concern. Again, is that like, I don't know. I might, I don't know. Let me get more of the, well, no, hold on. Again, even if it works like this, the placing is still awful. If I go back now to the spacing of like 4 and then a space and then 4. Maybe I'll put this back to average. Have you be 1? You get what? I don't know what this would do to add just the tiniest bit of bounciness. I might not look good, but let's find out. I don't know if a little bit of bounciness would be enough to get them off. So I mean, if it, okay, so like if it's a continuous animation of boxes coming in and then one box is pushing the next, that could, I mean, that partially can solve the problem, but it doesn't solve it enough. I would rather that, one box, and maybe like right now I actually should be just testing this with one box that's not necessarily falling from a big height. Testing this as a box that's like on the thing already, basically. Put it up a little bit. It should be able to move from here to the end without issues. Let me put one more, just because. See, now we're getting to the little bit of trickiness that comes with dealing with physics and trying to be exact or whatever, and yeah. If these themselves had the little notches like in between, maybe that could like sort of scoop up things. Or even if every one in a little bit had a little notch. I don't know, do I want that though? I'm unsure. Just because, well, but then notches here pushing it down, I don't know if that's going to do anything funky. But like, again, I could also, a potential option is if the cube is bigger, then surprise, problem kind of solved. And I mean, it goes both ways. Either I can make the conveyor belt twice the size, make the cube smaller. I wanted to try to get this work with the cubes being one. I mean, I didn't want a bunch of giant cubes in theory. I mean, well, I mean, or sorry, no, it was the thingy I just said is it'd have to be half the size, but like, why are you not, wait, why is the prefab, oh, let me change, that was grayed out. So if this was the size of these, and maybe a whole bunch of tiny ones, maybe, let me try this again, maybe this can work. So then this had to be and a half to match with what the other one were. Again, having to delete the ball and replace them. I know this is getting a bit tedious, but it's sort of necessary with just, yeah, making this thing work in the first place. And it is a little bit cool to see all the different results that we're getting from it. It is kind of cool. So how about now? What do you do? Oh, right. Physics is gonna physics differently. I make you smaller. You're gonna physically, like the gears themselves, sort of turning more. If I half you, is that gonna proportionately do what I want? Because that's the other thing. Is just the conveyor itself moving faster or slower, just in general, is going to affect the physics. You know, I mean, maybe this is good enough. That doesn't look too terrible. Because again, having a whole bunch of small ones, you just get to see more of the gears and stuff. And what matters the most is what it looks like to the camera. So like, can I get, and yeah, this is gonna get undone as soon as I go out of the scene, but I'm gonna probably do more messing around to get a good camera angle anyway. Now, okay, so I mean, I'm testing this like head-on kind of idea. Maybe let me just do a little bit more playing around with like what a top-down, not completely top-down. Well, okay, let's start. Let's start with what does a completely top-down kind of version of this look like, and then, okay, so I mean that wall is a problem. Temporarily just hide the wall. That's not what any of what. None of that is the thing that I wanted. Right, hiding it isn't gonna hide you from camera. Yeah. So I mean, first thing that is I noticed is that it being from this sort of top-down thing. Oh, actually, one thing that's interesting is I always thought of like over here had to be something that has to fall or get sucked up. The conveyor could go this way and then over if it is more top-down. That's an interesting option. But wait, I thought I'd stop you from moving on the Z-axis. Are you still, wait, are you still that way? You are, and yet you moved up that way. Maybe I just didn't position the initial thing right, but, again, I'm making a lot of changes I'm gonna have to redo, but whatever, it's fine. I want to see the conveyor belt in motion to better do this. So here you're seeing like the spokes kind of going up. I don't necessarily want that. So let me go to an 80 and see how drastically different even just that feels. What angle do I need before the bottom sort of jutting out gears become more prominent than the upper ones? Is basically the question I wish to solve. Well, you're still seeing both. And even wait, at this current angle, the wall, the back wall, I think can come back, right? Almost. I mean, yeah, ignore that for a moment. I don't even need that back wall as it is. It just is the way that I designed this initially. It'd be cool if there was more environmental stuff going on beyond just the conveyor belt. Oh, wait. These moved and, like... Yeah, okay. They're all a lot more over? Okay, that's the thing. Thing to be cautious of. I think that's just because I misplaced the initial cube. So actually, okay, so it's less... I was thinking that it was. I don't know if I want to go for a top-down view like this or not. I mean, the view down there where it is, like, on the side, I kind of liked it. I mean, I can still go for the in-between. What happens if I go for a perfect 45? What is that like? It doesn't feel like a 45. Because I guess I'm going off of, like, the bottom. That's just, you know, doing extra things. Let me just try... Let me see what it looks like with cubes moving on that. So this was I said it was a 45. Maybe I'll go for like a 30 or something. I need to... I'll do it eventually. I need to do something for the... to have the placeholders be in front of the camera. I know ways of doing that. You just have a second camera that's rendering these as like an overlay. You know what? Since I'm mentioning it, let's just do it right now real quick. Overlay camera, and this is set to okay. This is gonna render these guys, blah, and then just whoa, what? Oh, because I duplicated it so it has all the same stuff. Yes, of course that makes sense. Even this doesn't even need to be like positioned weirdly. You need to be told what stuff to. How do you? I need to remember again. How are you told what? So first, I know that these are going to need to be on their own new layer. This is like, what do I call this? This is like, it's not just placeholders because like a lot of like the conveyor belt was like a placeholder at one point. I want specifically it's like OBS placeholders, overlay stream placeholders. Whatever. I mean, it's just a name. I can always change it. So that, and then even just this being on that layer. Now, remind me again, how do I actually then say this camera only render things on that layer and the other camera don't render things on that layer? There's somewhere there's like a color map. That's so I might not see. Wait, if you're just changing the order. Wait. I haven't done this in a little bit. How do you do this again? I feel like I've done most of the steps. I'm just missing like one thing. These are still like relative to this camera. These are still good, yeah. I've done this in like past versions of Unity. My unicycle game does this. With the like the like this transition-y curtain thing that's in that thing. Unity, and yeah, over camera. How? Remind me how to do things. I think camera do a camera stack. Yeah. Oh wait, on the base camera, don't I add stack? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, figured it out with only like with minimal of reading. Okay. So let me just. I think we'll see if this conveyor size works. I'm gonna try. What size did we end up going with? It's like not great for that to be what the distance is, but I can work with it. It's not that many. It's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. I mean, the size itself is between two things. It's just how they have to be spaced out to function. So we have them go off both sides of the screen. I mean, okay, here I'm gonna move this camera over. Main camera. Should I could like a parent view under you. I don't know if that's gonna mess with stuff. Like, I'm basically not gonna touch the overlay camera anymore, so yeah, whatever. You're gonna be under you so that you're like out of the way. So this would be in theory moved over. I guess, yeah, rather than you can tell that, oh, where here is the first conveyor, in theory it's more like, you know, 1 over. Actually, let's have the camera just be at 0 for a second and just see if we can work off of that. So right now that means that the blocks are gonna spawn off screen. They could fall through here. I don't know what that's gonna look like necessarily. That black one I think might be too dark, but what if I... Hold on, let me just do... Well, okay, I was gonna say... I'm curious of what happens if just the black one has white lines. That wasn't the change I was gonna make, but let's just see. It stands out a lot more. I think maybe the black shouldn't be like full black. Have you be like a little bit more gray. Doing that, then maybe having the line be black more fits in. I feel like that one should be like rarer somehow. Whatever, it's not that. I mean, it is an extra, yeah, detail. Can I see the dark blue one? Not really. It's one of this one that's like a, yeah, I think this like sort of faded cyan. Just because, why not? It's an extra little detail. I'd be a little bit more subtle. Blah. What happens if you have white lines? Having 2 of them have white lines is actually kind of interesting. Then it's not subtle at all, but... Why did they... Wait. Why is that yellow one getting those lines? Weird. I didn't think I was shift selected on it or whatever, but whatever. Anyway. Okay, so... That's fine. Oh, I did not see the cube go by at all. Bring back the having multiple. You're like in the sky, decently spaced apart. That one's closer to the camera, but whatever. Just see it go. I can see the shadows, which I don't know how much I love that, but they're a lot bigger. Well, no, so these cubes are the same size as the ones down there. It's just that the camera is closer to them. So I did say before that I might eventually make a more polished version of these cubes where it's like they say stuff on them, like it's crates that say game-y things on them, where it's like sprites, materials, prefabs, scripts, or whatever. Like it's, you know, pieces of a game. Imagine it like this is some kind of game factory type thing. But like, so I mean, if I make the cubes themselves slightly closer to the camera, if I eventually do that, then that might work better for this. But yeah, I don't know. But I could also, I mean, at this angle, I think I want a little bit more breathing room in the conveyors themselves, so let me just try going a little bit further, which then means more conveyor belts. I don't know if I also want to play around. Like right now, it's just a perfect straight line, which is fine-ish. I don't know how much I love right now just seeing, I don't know, the things almost like falling off the conveyors. Let me just see the conveyor belts themselves again. The gears. I did make you the size of 2. They put you not fully in, but just like 1.5. Just don't not go out as far. And for for right now, I'll just quickly say that you can't move on the Z and might revisit. Might revisit that. Okay. So, okay, it does seem like I'm gonna need more conveyor belts on all the sides. But I was gonna say that I could at some point play around with like also conveyor belts that like they slightly are turning or whatever. But I mean, I don't know how well this system is gonna work with turns. Like that's gonna be extra hard to have stuff not fall off. Also, right now they're all the same. I could have one that's slightly like going uphill or whatever, right? There's options for how we could make this better. But for now, just for starters, I want to get this to work with just a simple straight path. I think I went well past the camera, but whatever. As we're still messing with the positioning of the camera, I'm fine going slightly more in both directions just to so I can more easily test with different angles and see how they do. I could even let me go a little bit steeper again. Let's try 30. Yeah, a little bit further still. Yeah. I feel like we're just gonna kind of end back up at like the starting camera angle, the what we have down there, but we'll see. I might experiment also more with just like down there having the camera angle not be as straight on as it is right now, but we're gonna start with that first just to start. Oh, even right, the camera's pulled down back a lot. Oh, it is. Did I resize the cubes? I didn't think I did, but like I noticed that this is a lot more like again, I guess it's just the camera being closer to it, but I noticed that this, even though it's the same size, looks smaller compared to how it does in the current thing. Okay, so now these do move slower. They take a lot longer to get to the other side of the screen, which they go a little bit closer. I can speed up the conveyor belt again. A lot of things I can tweak. Just yep. Keep messing with things for now. Yeah, let's try to filter. It adds. No. I mean, then by turning back this way, then it gets more of a variable. It's like on the screen. I mean, what is this? What is this angle? I don't know. I want to be conscious of the cubes themselves being on screen the whole time. Because also this white line, like this, is slightly above where it actually is. Cause I'd rather it have been like slightly under in here rather than a little bit of white like bleeding into the so-called actual thing. So maybe don't turn that hard with this. Is 30 even still too down? Maybe I do go back to one where it's more like looking at it more directly? I don't know. But then again, like the actual, like then getting it all to like the conveyor belt and then the hypothetical cube on top of it, getting it to all be in frame. Ideally, I want to actually see that. Maybe I turn the other way in a weird. I guess I'll move further, right? That's another thing. A tool that I have at my disposal is distance. Wait, that's straight on? Oh, weird. I guess it is. I don't have to be typing exact numbers, but like, I can. Oh, maybe curving this way is actually, maybe that works better for here. I mean, by curving negative, it makes the part where the kind of chat is more straight on a little bit, but. And just messing with things. This, I think, hopefully is more interesting to be messing with than going back and forth between different results than all like the lighting stuff we were doing last time. That I think was a lot more not so interesting to watch. But this, yeah, it's conveyor belts. Conveyor belts doing conveyor belt things. You know what I think actually might also be making the cube seem a lot more gigantic than before is just the way that the texture is down there. Let me just, as a test, just try something real quick. If I make this tile less temporarily, I think I liked how it was before, but just hypothetically I make it tile less, then it like weirdly that does this like sense of scale things where now the cubes being the same size don't feel this same level of gigantic. There's also just then less details, which is interesting. I can also mess with this. I have this offset. All right, once you pull in the material, you're not gonna do stuff. I have this offset thing, and that's the thing I can mess with. And now you're there, put your 0.5, then you're more like that. Right now, because just for ease, that is that offset is going off of... It's one number rather than being a vector 2, which I might, swap that out at some point, but not right this second. So the question is, do I like that better? Actually, being simpler might be more in its favor. My only issue is that, right now it does use the same grid texture as... It does use the same grid texture as the cubes do. So I can do a quick bit of messing around with that not being the case. Oh my gosh. Just try a few of the other ones that I made. But I feel like we're probably going to go back to it. Probably. Right. I do have a dotted one. So, okay, this is probably a no-go. Or, what this one? Hold on here. How does this look? It's already weird to just, it's different than before. Unsure if before was better or not, but I mean, using not the exact same texture that the cubes use might be beneficial for just slightly being more different, but I mean, still the same like grid lines and notches, but this one is just a different sizing of it. But it was already a different kind of sizing because it was shrunk down, but whatever. Unsure if I like that more. Let me back up all the way to how it kind of started this. Is it really this? No. Wait, oh, it was like this? This feels like simpler, but like... Weirdly, I think I actually might like this one more. I think I like the more detail on the conveyor belts. Yeah, weirdly enough. And I kind of like this has some detail, but like nothing kind of in the center of it. I don't know, weirdly I like it. I don't know. There's this contrast between like detailed thing and not so detailed thing. Maybe that contrast is good. So I might stick with this for now. I will, real quick, I want to try speeding up the conveyor belt ever so slightly. Not too much, maybe a 0.4. Not even a 0.5, just a 0.4. Just see what effect that has on these cubes. They do take a second to speed up. One thing I can do when I record the actual animation, I don't have to start at frame 0. I could have it be a couple seconds before the cube actually comes on frame. Because I mean, even the conveyor itself needs a second for it to like dip. So I could start like the recording like 5 frames in or whatever, or even like if I wait a few seconds, 120 frames. Is it moving too fast? So I need to compare it, like how fast it's moving to how much the the cubes themselves are actually moving across it. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, they are moving along with it. They're not like sliding at a rate that doesn't like make sense or whatever. So now that they're moving the way they are, let me just for a minute try going back to the physics material, messing with it. Actually, what happens if I make the bounciness 1? What will that mean for it to be so bouncy? Maybe there's ones that are gonna fall in. Kinda didn't bounce. I thought it didn't really matter which side the physics material was on. Is the physics like I'm affecting the bounciness of the Conveyor. Do I really have to be affecting the bounciness of the cube for this to... what I want? And this definitely looks too bouncy. Like, yeah, like that. I guess it does affect it. The cubes hitting off of each other is going to mess with things. Let me just, you know what, just for the funsies. Object settings. Let me just, for the moment, especially for a project this simple, I'm just going to make everything have this material that we made. Because then the cubes bouncing off each other will be bouncy. I'm just curious what that's going to look like. Because then even the cubes themselves being bouncy, which I thought setting the thing to maximum would basically do that inherently, but whatever. So I don't think they should be this bobbly. I just wanted to see what would happen. But maybe a little bit of bobbiness ain't the end of the world. Let me put this to, like, tone down the friction just a little bit, just to see what that's gonna do. Interesting that I should land on top of it, but, you know, in theory that's not gonna be an issue. I don't know if I also want to maybe move the, turn the light so that, I don't know, the way that the shadow is there, I don't know if I want that to be that way. Yeah, we're at this phase where I could just be tweaking this all day, making small changes. Maybe I should start to just wrap this up and get to, at least get the other fundamentals in here. I think I'm overall happy with this, how it is. At this point, maybe any more minor changes. Like, I don't know if I'll move the camera back. Maybe back just a little bit more. Or do I let it be more in? So there's less, like, repeating, like, actual conveyor belt. Is 20 still a good angle? Do I go back to being a little bit steeper at 30? Ooh, maybe that. Oh, maybe that is actually what I go with. Something like that. Yeah, I need to be slightly above the conveyor belts because as much as the conveyor belts are cool, the focus is meant to kind of be on the cubes themselves moving across it. The cubes shouldn't really be clipping off the top of the frame. I mean, here is fine. I could reposition it. Well, then also, yeah, this isn't like a straight line falling. And they go a little low on that side. Right, the idea that if I wanted to sort of a shoot to be like dropping the cubes that's from here, that does get trickier with the weird way this is lined up. Even here, this doesn't necessarily work. Should I align, like, specifically pick a weird angle where this gets to be more of a straight drop? I mean, actually, I don't hate the idea of, like, yeah, they're going this way, but it's, you know, still being small. I could actually then do some stuff over here. Interesting. Fall into where it's more in frame and then fade off into the distance. I'll have to add more conveyors. Or, I mean, actually, I already have more place, I might as well use them. So, like, I don't want you to see the fact that it ends. I could have that, but I'd rather, like, go fully. Yeah, kind of like. Let me. They don't have to be exact numbers, but they can be. Can sometimes make other things more easier to line up. Do make some sense. So how? Let me. What this is currently looking like. The cubes are going to be dropping more in the middle. That's more of a problem, but for the moment, the cubes have gone back to being smaller, which is again interesting that happened. Okay. Interesting. So if I would temporarily put these as I can use the if I put them so that they drop from about there, what does that look like? They fall too slow. That's a whole separate thing. I feel like they do. They don't like fall with like weight. I feel like they should. But now, okay, now this is going to be tricky if I change the physics of the cubes. That might introduce some problems. Let's make your mass 10 and see what that does. Yeah, drag 0.5, less air resistance. I can also go under physics and increase gravity there, but let me just try this first. Okay. So there is the issue where they're like colliding. I would, in the thing that like spawns them to be falling, I just would space them out a lot more. So I'm kind of ignoring that part. Let me put this back to 1. They were falling fast. If I just put it like that slightly less air resistance, there's slightly more kind of air resistance in there. See what that's gonna do. I mean, it does affect them actually like moving. So, okay, after they've fallen, are they going to be able to move? Oh, right. Oh, gosh, they're actually stopping the conveyors. Too heavy now, aren't they? Well, that's a concern. And the conveyors already feel like they're spinning quite fast as it is. If I just turn on the drag, are you going to have a better time? Or do I really need to just make you guys lighter? I don't know me messing with this prefab is actually affecting these spawn cubes at all. I don't think it is. You know what I should be doing is, well, no, I was about to say, just put in a temporary spawner, so it'll be like 0.5 seconds, it's spawning a cube. But no. Those are falling with some force. They don't have to be, they don't need the high drag. And then, now they're moving super easily over. Wait, I just realized that. Wait, I thought I still had the Z value frozen on them. It's not, and they're not falling off. That's actually very surprising. Really? Crazy. Also, this is called conveyor block. Nothing about the cube itself has to do with the conveyor. It just happens to be a thing that falls onto the player. So I'm just gonna call it crate, whatever. Now that changes like anything, but. Remove the word conveyor from it. I'm gonna put the mass back to 1. You see? Let's try Dragon 0. Yeah. Usually on like physicsy things like a character, I'll have some drag on it. Okay, so there is the problem that like until they reach like a terminal velocity, each one that spawns is gonna drop faster and faster. So, okay, one thing I could do differently than how I set stuff up before, when I spawn like the ones down here, I just on start spawn like 100 going off into the distance, and then they all slowly come into view. I don't have to do it that way. I could just have an actual spawner that just sits up here and every couple seconds spawn the cube. Then it would be spawning and then dropping with hitting with the same force rather than falling for 10 minutes and then hitting the ground. Yeah, like that would be fine to do, I think. Okay. So let's do that, I guess, because like I can keep messing around with these, but that's not like changing the physics of these and moving them around slightly doesn't change that. That's going to be a thing that I want to program. In terms of making an actual like chute that these are falling down from, I won't do that just yet. I don't know what that's going to look like. See, I could do it the portal way, like that's just a portal thing when you're doing the chest chamber, like port 1, portal 2, you have like the thing that the cubes dropped from. Like, that's the first thing that I think of with that kind of idea. But I don't just want to rip off Portal, I want to do something unique. What's the Cyber Chroma way of that version of that kind of, just a cube that comes down from somewhere, where whatever's over here isn't too detailed. I'm not exactly sure. There's also like there's still like I guess I have to decide this now is the idea of so there's two ways that I can use this space. Either that the cubes drop in, they land, and then they go, or that the cubes come in from over here and then they get sucked up or whatever, like I don't know, like they're going somewhere. So the trade-offs of both of them, well, like one I'd need like some kind of wind thing that's like sucking them up, and that could look interesting, I guess, but I need to code that. However, them dropping in, getting to like land and sort of jumble around a little bit and then go, potentially looks more interesting. There's just more going on, perhaps. There's also that, like, it doesn't have to fall. I could, if I took out this wall, it could be a conveyor belt that comes from the distance. I kind of like the wall for right now. It's, I don't know, good thing to just have chat against, I guess. So I think, logically, as far as what's more interesting in regards to the cubes themselves, the falling, I think, is better than... I think the falling is better, but I don't know for sure. Well, like, I think I'm gonna go with the falling, but just if it's falling, then it's like, what's the physical, like, contraption that it's falling from? Like, I don't need to think too hard about it. I think, for now, for a version 1 of this, we're just not gonna have anything. It's just gonna come from off-screen and just fall. Well, it can just be that for now. Yeah, but like, especially if I have some contraption here again, I want it to be ideally simple because it's where chat's going to be. I don't want them here to be super complicated, right? I sure as I have anti-aliasing off, I should maybe have that on. Oh, it's okay. I guess it's smoothing out over there. I guess I want that. Yeah, sure. What is weird with this grid texture is the way that it does over here. Eventually, it looks like there's kind of nothing, but I guess there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I don't think so anyway. Just looking at how that's not that that matters that much. That's more like that's in the distance or whatever. It's not that far in the distance, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, so let's just get a block generator thing. Block generator 2.0. Do I want to keep the old one just to keep the other scene functional? Is the other scene functional at all? Let me just, because there's a chance I've broken it. I do like the idea of preserving the history. So maybe oh gosh, is this even, hey, you are, okay. It's the same cube prefab, which I'm fine with that changing, I think. Okay, so I'll yeah, I mean, okay, basically I'm saying, like, do I delete this code or not? I'm gonna try to have it still be here. 2 block generator 2. I'll call it, like, so the first one spawns 100 or whatever on start. This one can be one that, like, it's, I'm gonna let continuous block spawner or block generator. I guess that's the difference. Rather than one does it all at once. I mean, it's gonna do more because it's gonna actually be vertical, but whatever. Okay. Which actually, that's one thing I was considering as well in terms of how many it spawns before it shuts off for me to loop the animation. Like, was I gonna just wait and then be like, okay, that's enough, turn it off? By putting an number, like, it spawns that many. Once that's spawned that many, then it auto turns off. That could be good. Would be really cool. Okay, actually, before I go any further, I'm curious of if functionality exists. Right now, when I record these, I have to, like, be watching for, like, oh, right, convenient time. Right now, I have to watch for when the last cube goes by and then hit stop recording. If I could code in some special thing that, like, once the last cube leaves the screen, then it auto turns off the recording, that'd be kind of cool. So if I were to do that, the first thing I would look at is, oh wait, hold on, this camera is gonna have these that it doesn't need. I guess actually preemptively it doesn't need to audio listeners as well. Okay, so this recorder binder thing, my first guess as to if such code exists. Oh, I actually don't know what these bindings do stuff with. I do see that there's a Unity engine .recorder, so there's probably other stuff to do with that. Continuous block generator. I did rename you. Okay, so I'm just curious to just find this out. Saves me a couple seconds, and it means that I could be like, it's quote unquote rendering, and I can go, or I could be doing other stuff. I don't have to be watching it, make sure I don't miss the end. I imagine the trigger for, like, detecting that there's no blocks on screen is I could maybe have the block generator put something special on the last block, even just change its tag, call it last block, and then I could manually position what's I want to make sure I have a little bit of like a few frames after it leaves screens, just make sure there's no little bit of shadow left or whatever. So a little bit off screen, I just put a trigger that like once this special cube hits that, then it stops the animation in theory. But I'm just curious just to see first, is there a stop animation function? Recorder dot. I mean, I can Google this, but okay, I was seeing if I could just figure it out in 2 seconds. Do I have to like make you your class? And then do you have? Well, you don't like that, do you? Okay, I'm gonna Google this. I'll probably figure it out a lot faster. Unity recorder stop by code. Is there some kind of I just wanna is there a way I was hoping this would be something you could do. I mean, if this isn't a thing, then that's fine, I guess, but oh gross. I'm seeing this is from 2020. I'm seeing a way of potentially doing this, but I just want to see if there's like in more recent times, is there like an actual way of doing this easier? One moment. Cause I'm seeing basically an editor thing where you like get the physical window and stuff, which I mean I guess works. I'm just trying to see, like I might as well do a quick glance around for if there happens to be a more, you know, elegant way of doing what it is I'm trying to do. Might as well have a look. You know what? While I'm quickly googling stuff off screen, blah, 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 you guys can see. This wants to play. Wow, conveyor belts. I mean, I could also, you know, set this to specific stuff, but I'm trying to see if I can have it trigger by something that happens in game. That would be cool. Oh wait, recording stops. The editor remains. Wait, when recording stops, editor. Of course. Wait. Oh wait. If I can have it trigger by exiting play mode. Wait. New records automatically exit play mode. Oh wait. But there might be a thing that it does. Hold on. If I, so let me just as a test. If I'm recording, going out of like usually I stop the recording by this button. If I stop it by this button, you're gonna stop, right? And therefore you've just recorded a thing. Did you? You were this, right? Okay, that might be good enough. That's all. I'm fine with it, like exiting play mode. So I mean, I could, yeah. So this saves me like weirdness of trying to get, you know, do editor window stuff. I think I do still need like, so it just, application.quit is how you quit a game in like, application.quit is how you do stuff in of actual build. Actually, I'd have to double check. I don't think I've actually tested this kind of thing in a while. Application.quit does nothing in. It does do nothing in the editor, right? I have to have a special thing for that. I know that used to be the case, but it hasn't like been updated where it knows how to do that, right? Just input input dot get key down. All I'm trying to do is just put any, like when I press any button, just quit. Just as a test. I don't know if it should be this escape key, but whatever, it's fine. It's just a test. Okay, let's try. No, yeah, didn't think so. Wait, that code's not running on anything, so it actually might be working. Continuous block generator. Larg. I'll put in the like crate. Blocks to spawn 100. Min spacing. I don't even remember exactly what to set for those, but whatever, it's fine. It's meant to spawn 100 blocks on top of each other over there. Don't worry about it. Oh god. Didn't think so. So what's the quick Unity? It's like Unity editor dot quit dot exit play. There's a way. I know there's a way. How do you? I know I've done this before. Unity. I just don't know the exact power of being able to Google things. How to exit play mode. Don't you dare just tell me that the button at the top. Okay. First thing I googled is basically like, hey, there's a button up there. If you click it, it'll take you to play mode. It's not what I'm looking for. Editor application at exit play mode. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Blarg. And this I get this needs to have Unity editor at the top, but none of this at the present moment is going to be running in a build. I mean, okay, I guess I can just do the quick little like hashtag if Unity editor. What? Yeah, that. Why were you not coming up before? Else. Wait, I don't need to test. Wait, why are you having a problem? Expected. You're expecting. I put an else, not an end if. These are called directives. Basically, having. I think. Do I need one around that at the top? I'm not completely sure, but I'm gonna do it just in case. I don't even know if this is the code that should be doing that, but whatever. For now, it's fine. It probably won't be because it'd be the special end block that actually does that. Yay! It worked. I mean, I guess made a game that you can't start. Mwahaha. That'd be a. Surely this has been done before, but like a. Or is it like, oh, that's awesome. Weird kind of like puzzle, like a short puzzle game where it's like the game is trying to close itself and you have to like do puzzles to have it not close itself or something. Surely, I think that's good. Okay, so that's. Oh, I didn't even test the thing. I just wanted to see this cube explosion that happens. Yeah. Yeah. See, one thing is, I don't know how I would necessarily like. That's cool and all. I don't know how I would necessarily take that and convert it into animation. Or like how I would maybe incorporate something like that into this. So it's going to be a subtle in the background looping animation. A big cube explosion doesn't work great for that, especially for something to repeat. I'm not just going to have it like blah 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 every couple seconds. I could try, but I mean, it'd be interesting, like, I have this kind of conveyor belt kind of thing. If someone types something special in chat, it, like, spawned, like, 10 cubes from here, just, and it goes. That'll be, when we, having more weird, crazy stuff like that will be more for the phase when this is no longer a looping animation, but it is something running continuously, which we're going to wait on that, because for now, I don't want to have to worry about having to keep a separate Unity thing open all the time. We're going to wait until... So I'm going to be moving soon, potentially. After I move, then I want to potentially hook up my my old computer. That can be the thing that's constantly running whatever. And then somehow they're connected in a way through the cloud to be having. Basically, this animation being streamed in the same way that chat is read from the internet. Which maybe that will work. I don't know. Those are just spitballing ideas that, I don't even know how that's going to... if that will work well, or if the performance of attempting to do such a thing would, be bad. But, we'll see. It's ideas that we will experiment around with. Alright, 11:13. No, it's getting late. I do got to be up early tomorrow. I have a very busy day tomorrow. Definitely 100% not streaming tomorrow, unfortunately. So let's finish this stuff now while I have time to. Yeah. Okay, so where were we? So I gotta change this. Basically, instead of... So, I still want to randomize the position a little bit. That kind of is a thing that I want. I want to randomize the positions and even the time a little bit. Okay, so How do I want to do this? I'm still going to have you off a fixed seed for now. However many it's going to spawn until it shuts off. So, I mean, the first thing is instead of being in a for loop, it's going to be in some kind of coroutine. Wait to spawn. And then this is going to have a bit of a yield return. Well, I mean, I get, okay, so this would be easiest to do my normal way of doing this. Have a while true loop that has a yield return, wait for seconds in it. New wait seconds. This will be some randomized time that it does, and it's gonna go through this until it has. I mean, I guess it could be while. It really could be like however many we spawned is underneath. However many we want to spawn. Yeah, I guess I could do it rather than having a break statement in there. I guess that would be the more elegant way of doing it. Did I not put the word private in front of these? I always usually do that. Oops, I'm breaking from my own normal code conventions. No. Private, vector through, bool, no, int, blocks spawned, or whatever, something along those lines, and then this is gonna be, I guess, well, blocks spawned is less than blocks to spawn. While it's less than or equal, if it's equal to, then it will maybe spawn one more. It spawned 100 blocks. But then it'll go to spawn 101, so no, I guess if it starts at 0, yeah, okay. So at some point in here, it'll be like, yeah, plus. Okay, so we need, I guess you're, yeah, so before with the other spawning, I had to treat the axes differently. I guess now they're basically gonna be the same. So, okay, start coroutine, wait to spawn, and then ditch you. I'll just move all this over here, which means I could potentially separate those, but whatever, I'll get to that. Curve block position isn't a thing I need to keep track of anymore because that was as we were just continuously going down and spawning stuff. What offset position was? Oh, based on here's where we want to spawn. That was offset. So this is less important. It can be more manually calculated, but for now, I'll keep it around. So offset position. I don't need any view. Offset position equals just transform dot position of the spawner, and then okay. So I mean, I can definitely combine all this into like one line, but for right now, I'm just gonna the easy way of keeping it how it is. So add, you know, between blarg and blarg and blarg and blarg and blarg and blarg. Well, okay, I guess. So I have no reason for these to not be like negative of this and the, well, no, so this would be like 2, or hold on. No, it should just be, so I only need one number here now. If I put it in 5, then like between -5 and +5 in whatever direction. So, yeah, with how this has changed, I can just make it a between negative and positive. And then, well, okay, so do I even care about, like, do I need different numbers in the different directions? Oh, I guess the Z, so for the way that Conveyor Belt is, I guess now I don't really want things to spawn further or back. Unless I let them spawn further and back a little bit, but then I lock the Z. I just worry about stuff falling off the Conveyor Belt. So I was basically judging of, like, do I want them, do I care about the different axes being different, or do I let it just be one value? I guess I do care a little bit. So the X will be decently big. The Y will be decently big, as it doesn't matter. The larger the Y is, the faster the block will fall. So in theory, actually, I might make that large. But then the Z will be basically nothing. I'll still let you spawn with a random rotation. Why did I go plus and minus? Because, whoa. Mine was going, because I was going that way. I don't know why I did that here or not initially, but now I've got it because I put the other code, but that's fine. Okay. Do this at U, and then transfer.rotation. But then I let the cube itself handle spawning with a random rotation, just because. I might also now affect the scale of it. I guess the cubes themselves can handle that. I don't know which is better for which to be the one to do it, but oh well, it's fine. Because actually having the crates themselves be slightly bigger or slightly smaller, that's just an additional thing that gets to happen. As long as they're not so small that they're slipping between the conveyor belts. So it might only be like slightly smaller versus a lot bigger. A cube that's like twice the size can be interesting, I guess. And then instead of being a fixed time interval, even the time until you spawn the next one should be random. Min spawn time, and I guess this will be just 2. I could have this be a vector 2, but I just feel like it makes more sense in the inspector to have it say min and max, other than just being vector 2 spawn time. And it's like, okay, what do the X and Y mean? As I wrote special editor code to label them, but whatever, it's not that important. So then, wait some random time that is random dot range between min spawn time and max spawn time. And then this was a temporary thing. Well, I'll keep that until I put in where I'm going to copy this into what's actually going to make this exit. So now, well, I guess do I have to put that now? When we're on the last block, I guess so this -1. Actually, so here's, well, wait, I'm waiting time before I shouldn't be waiting time to then decide, hey, we spawned the last block. And not that that matters that much, but I guess if this is at the top of this, but then you'll wait, like, you might wait, like, well, I'm not gonna wait 5 to 10 seconds. The spawn time is gonna be, ideally, well, okay, actually, that's gonna be, might be tricky to, it needs to be large enough that they're not, I like how it is down there where there's a bunch that are, like, clumped together, but that is hard with, I guess, I don't know how bad it is for them to be, like, landing on top of each other or whatever. I'd like you to spawn one on the first frame. No, maybe not. Maybe let it be. Even that be random, just because. Okay, so now stuff over here. Hey, I don't gotta move my head anymore because the things be moving around. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pointing it out because it's awesome that I don't have to care about it anymore. So spacing on the X. Wait, are you even? You're not even. I need to move you. Just didn't be in the right place. Which is gonna basically be where. I don't know how high you should be, but yeah, something like that. Because there will be some additional seconds it takes to fall down, but I guess it might be fine. The seed, I'm just gonna go for that. Whatever. It could have just did at 0, but whatever. Min spawn time, let's say 1 and what do you put as high as 10? Let's say 5, see what that does. Spacing on the X. 2 in either direction might be too much, let's see. I want to try varying the Y by a lot. Let's put that as 5. So this is effectively double. It's going to be -5, +5, so effectively 10. The Z should be basically nothing, but I'm going to put 0.1, just so it gets that little bit of variance. I'm going to expect that this won't exactly work. Let's see what goes wrong first. I will want to delete the additional sort of test cubes. There's one. Oh, I got to make sure that when it spawns, you don't physically see a shadow show up. Them falling off is also not something I want. How did the first ones... They were perfectly fine. I'm going to delete them now, though. Are you too high? I didn't think you were that. Oh, did I didn't even double check, but yeah, you're not even aligned with the conveyor belt, so it makes more sense that you're going to fall like that. Yeah, you'll be centered with that one. That's okay. Let's move you down to like here. Yeah. I don't know if 2 to the side's gonna be hard. In theory, it should still be falling like relatively on screen. Okay. And again, I can introduce guardrails, but I don't want to. If it falls off and falls off screen, like, that's technically not the worst thing. Oh god, you fell over there. Like, I mean, I can let cubes clutter up around here, but it shouldn't be completely... But I need the cubes to go away because I need this to, like, fill up with, I need this to fill up with, or to be able to empty. And yeah, I could have no floor, and then they just drop away. But I want the floor there. Ideally they don't fall. But even the shadows, doing that, I think I gotta not have the light pointed that way, I think. If it's pointed away from the wall, then it makes the wall itself darker. I don't necessarily want that. I still want to be all bright and stuff. You can just move to this. Let's try that. So this has darkened, but it gets extra darkened by chat being there. So now the shadow is going to be going to the left, so it's less of a... The shadow's going to spawn off screen. Do I have to... I mean, I can make the conveyor belt itself wider. And I'm thinking that maybe that might be a thing I have to do. Why can't I... What would I change on, I don't know anymore. I think I shift selected and it did something, and I don't know what the options are going to do that. Oh. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. I mean, if it is less likely to fall off, and then if the... I don't know. I mean, I could go, like, wider, but not as wide as I've currently made it. Although, I mean, maybe this can look fine. I feel like I then need to move... Oh, you still fell off. Okay, I mean, I can... So let me try, like, 1.5. 2.5. 1.25, and let me just bite the bullet with this. If I let it spawn with some Z variants, but then you fall and do not move on the Z axis, then maybe I can get it so that they're not moving down in a perfect line, but they still can be slightly forward and back. And I can then, yeah, basically I can just remove the worry entirely of them falling off. I saw that one spawn still. Okay, I mean, I can... So in terms of now the speed that they're falling, they can spawn higher, and then I can decrease the time. Let's go full 25 in the air, and then, like, so the spacing. Let's vary the Y by a lot for funsies. I can make the spawn time super small. Get a lot of crates in there. If they're all banging against each other, I don't know what that's necessarily going to look like, but, you know, I can see. Why does it feel like 1, 2, and yeah, there being some gaps, I guess, but I don't know how varied the spawn time should be. That was cool. I like that when they roll a lot. I do like that. Is there a worry of them rolling a lot in the other direction? Because isn't this the last conveyor belt before nothing? I mean, I guess if they fall off this way, as long as they're on the off screen, it's not the end of the world if one falls off, as long as it can get off screen somehow. Yeah, letting them tumble a lot, but yeah, the fact that they stay, it doesn't look that bad. Okay, one did fall off over that way. Like, if one falls off that way, as long as it can come back, it's not the worst thing. So I'll go 2 over. It doesn't affect things that much. Oh no, the frame rate. Not the worst thing. Okay. Either. I'm curious to allow this to be even smaller. Let it be. Have it be more dense with cubes. I don't know what that's necessarily going to do, but we can find out. Oh, right, this seed. Right, the fact that it's spawning ones with the same color is mildly neat. Let me just take off 2 numbers now. The seed is different enough for it to do at least something slightly differently. Let's just shake things up a bit. Doesn't matter that much. It definitely takes a second for the conveyor belt to, like, get going, which I guess I'm fine with. I'll just, as I said, have the animation start recording few seconds in. Wait, can I? Oh, can I even do that though? I had the recording thing on manual. Can I have it go from 5 seconds in until when I tell it to stop? That's annoying. If I can't do that. Unless I mean, if I'm already gonna maybe have code to automatically start the or to automatically stop the recording. Well, no, I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But, okay, this is looking fine, I guess. Yeah. Is it better than the one that's currently down there? I think so, overall. It has more detail. It has the conveyors. The conveyors are cool. I guess the conveyors, they don't go as crazy insane as when we were testing with some stuff with it earlier, but that's like, okay. It makes a bit sense to be a bit more controlled. I do like that some of these get to stack on top of each other. Scale. Scale of the cubes. I want to do that. You do have a random rotation. Let's put in a random scale. That's just another little thing that makes the stuff slightly different. That's not where I had to go at all. Scripts. Just randomize scale. I don't know if the eyes part should be in there. It could just be random scale, but whatever. It's fine. Okay. So, public. Well, actually, I'm going to open, before I go any further, I'm going to open up the random rotation. Can I pull anything from you? There's no RB.scale, right? That's not a thing. No, I didn't think so. Okay, so, because it's just right when it spawns. Even that part doesn't necessarily need to be RB.rotation, but, so I need a minimum scale and a maximum scale. Am I just going to have it be... I just realized that I don't have to do it uniformly. I could have it like a long crate and do that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, why not? Yeah, I guess just vector 3 min scale. But then actually if I do this, then it might be that most of them are wrong way. Like most of them will be deformed. I kind of may want most of them to be perfect cubes and then the occasional one that's like long, but well, yeah, I could put that in here. Have some other random thing that like 9 out of 10 times it just goes perfect cube, but then sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. Okay, so but for now we'll just do it, perfectly. I'm just gonna put in new. This will be like easier to then put on other things if like new vector 3 like 0.1, 0.5. I don't want even the default to necessarily be too small, because in this case, too small does actually introduce a problem. And then we'll say that in terms of being large, as long as now, it is nice to force them to not be able to go off it. It means I can be a bit wackier with, I can make this a scale of 2, and then I don't gotta worry about it. If I did want to introduce like pathing, where it's like, having the conveyor belt actually turn, that gets a lot trickier. But for now, I don't gotta worry about that. So yeah. So on start, just being transform.local scale equals. Can I go like? Is there an easy way to go like random between two vectors? I mean, yeah, or do I just have to? I know there's these that like unit circle stuff. Dot rotation, that's like easy. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do it more manually. That's fine. Random dot equals. Okay, so new vector 3 random dot range between min scale dot x max scale dot x. Please. Oh no. Yeah, not having to type stuff as much. Woo! I don't know if we should be F's there, but whatever, it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so if I do that now, randomize scale. I guess we just go with this and see what happens. But hey, I don't know if I want most of them to have off scales. Let's see what we get. Big. Those are also pretty big. Interesting. They made 2 green ones that were about not the same size, but kind of. It could mess with the Like, on one hand, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Do I want that? Is this what I... I feel like I wanted it more commonly... normal-sized crates. Oh, rotating Dotus, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Maybe smaller range of sizes? Yeah, that too. That could also be a thing that I do. Which, like, I mean, okay, I could just test, like, how does it look if I don't go that crazy with it? If I just go, like, 1.1 and 0.9. Like, if it's only slight, because that was the initial thing, was just have slight variation, not be major. If I do let it be just slight being squished, maybe that will look a bit better. And those look basically the same. It kind of just looks like it's making this shape very consistently. And is it, I guess just because physics, it happens to be squishing like the smaller side, or I guess the largest side, to the bottom of the conveyor. It's interesting that how that seems to be doing that. Like, you're not really having a tall thing move over, it's going to topple over. Interesting. Like, it's maybe fine. Let me just, for a minute, try, at a small decahedron that randomly spawns once. I could have other shapes, yeah. I mean, just in general, like, spheres and, like, more... yeah, a decahedron. Let me just try for a second, though. Real quick. I just want to play. Just want to see what it looks like with a uniform. Like, have it be cube, but bigger or smaller, which means it's just gonna take the X, but that's fine for this. And then with that, I want to now go back to 0.5 and then 1.5. Maybe not all the way to 2. Oh, wait, I wasn't done yet. Hold on, I want to go back up for a second. No. Just as well, for the funsies, randomize the seed just again. Get different shapes in there. Yeah, because. Okay, and go. I guess, like, I don't technically... excuse me? Cubes? 0... Well, oh, it's making stuff that's, like, really tiny? I meant one. It broke? Yeah, it turns out when you write incorrect code, things don't work. Who knew? Who knew? Crazy. Yeah. I still like, at least, yeah, okay, so I do personally think I like this more, weirdly enough. Yeah, I think I like just... Maybe I'll make even the small size a little bit bigger. Okay, I think I might condense it a little bit more, but... I mean, because I do like the uniformity of, like, what's currently there. So maybe... And the idea that what I more wanted out of this was, like, mostly the normal-sized cube, and occasionally throw in one that's, like, a more different size. So let me do that. That random.range, if random.range between 0 and 10 equals 0, then do this. And if I do this, then maybe I can throw back in, yeah, then I'll throw in it, that'll be squished, or whatever. Random.range. Which is, the name randomized scale is not exactly a great name for the script anymore, but whatever, I'm in a hurry. How much time I got? Half an hour-ish. I do really need to stop before midnight tonight. Or at least around midnight, so. We are now racing against the clock. Whoop. Wait. Why can't I bracket? No, you're just that many. Yep. Reptilian Goddess. I don't know if you were here earlier when we were first making the conveyor belt and seeing how just bonkers it was being. Before it wasn't working and that was getting quite concerning, but then when it was working and it was being very awesome. It is potentially like a single conveyor like up close does potentially look cooler, but this is more the idea for the animation that we wanted, and again, we don't have to be too crazy in practice. But the idea that we could potentially make like a tank kind of thing out of this is an idea, is a thing. Yeah. Okay, so this, have I seen any ones that are actually squished? This is a squished one. Okay. You have 15 minutes to start yelling at you to wrap things up. Oh no. Alright, I will, so if that's, so with, I need to get back to the prefab. I don't know why I thought of Back to the Future when I said that. You know, this has nothing to do with Back to the Future. It's back to the prefab. You back to these, the occasional block, 1 in 10-ish. And let's, yeah, put in another just random seed. It's like, what's your pin number? Someone want to give me their SIN number? I'll put that in as a seed. No. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's, that be cubes. Are they? Yeah. Just saying if I want to adjust the, like, parameter of them falling. Do I want them to fall faster still? I think they should fall a little bit faster. I'm going to mess with the, Well, okay, I'll do two things. One, physically move up the spawner so you get a little bit more closer to terminal velocity. And then you're also, again, just more likely to be spawning without any shadows or whatever. And from the 5 variants, you can spawn all the way up to 40. Whoa! Okay, I had like the half a second, like the 0.1 second of, oh, was that a phone number thing? But then I saw like, yeah, the 420 and the rest. But yeah. You know, there's a thing in, well, most TV shows, a lot of TV shows, when they need like a phone number for, they'll have the middle numbers be 555 because there's no real numbers with a 555. So, yeah, they'll do that. But yeah, is that a fire emoji? The fiery leaf? Yeah. All right, yeah, this is working. This is cool. Z's enough. Do I want to? They're still kind of spawning off. I did say before I'd make it more of an actual shoot that they'd be spawning, but you know, it doesn't even need that. It's fine. Like, and again, there's like endless adjustments I could be making to this in theory. But like, is there any quick ones? Any quick adjustments I want to make before I say that this is a good to go? Is there enough? How much clearance do you have? Yeah, that's fine. And then you're going off here. Oh. So I don't know if this has the potential to pose a problem. If I let this run long enough, will these stack up and eventually be over here? There should be a renewable animation. So I'm gonna have it. I'm just gonna decrease the size of this, and then it'll, you know, fall off. If the occasional one falls here, then that shouldn't be fine. You're not gonna be too far that way, yeah. 100% will back up traffic, yeah. Not if you kill them. And I don't need to make like a kill plane, just make sure. I mean, right now, yeah, they're gonna be spawning infinitely. Because it's a looping animation, like, it doesn't actually matter, that's fine. Eventually, we'll get to the point of this running live, I will want to make sure it can run for a long time and not eventually be like, oh god, there's thousands of objects, that's a problem. Yeah, this should be a-okay. Let me mess with another thing. If I make the mass 2, there's the worry of if I make any bit of this. The heavier I make the cubes, the more maybe the more I gotta speed up the conveyor belt, or it won't go. So I made the cube slightly heavier, and then the conveyor belt slightly faster. I just want to see what behavior that has. All right. They kind of feel like they're having more hit. I might decrease the X spawning thing because they shouldn't be necessarily coming in from like here or completely off screen necessarily. Actually, I just realized that I could do that. I could. I could potentially combine sort of what's going on down there with this, where I could have an endless stream of cubes coming from off screen that are just not falling, and then the occasional one that falls on top of that. Then there's that like variance a little bit. No. No, I will not adding that routine. But great, 10 out of 10 idea. But I'll pass. I was considering it being like in Portal, the chutes that spawn the cube, but I don't want to necessarily steal from Portal directly. I don't know. So there's the thing where like whatever's down here, chat's gonna be in the way, so I don't want it to be too noisy, whatever it is. Initially I was gonna have the cubes be coming on screen, then getting like sucked up or whatever, but yeah. I mean, it's just, cubes. But whatever. I could also have it spawn like other things, but I don't want to get too complicated with this. One, just it's meant to be like small in the background kind of thing, and then I want to also be moving on to other things that I want to do, not be spending years making this polished animation. But then also I want to eventually make other things. We have like the conveyor one, and then I make others. Where like other things that we like swap them out from time to time. So like even just the conveyor one doesn't need to be the most complicated thing ever. And it'll be especially cool when we get to the point of like I think what I'm mainly like what I'm looking forward to with a lot of this is getting to the point where it's not just a looping animation, but actually like being a thing that's running 24/7, or at least when I'm live, there's actual randomness happening, and it's more of like almost like a game that's idly happening down there. That's what I'm more looking forward to with this. Where, with this conveyor idea, it could be like I turn this into like a sorter thing where maybe there's a certain color, like it splits and becomes like 3 conveyor belts, and they like things go different ways. Or there's like a thing that looks like a metal detector kind of thing, or it like springs the occasional one away, making it more this gamification kind of thing. Oh hey, it spawned the last one. You could add random grid blocks that spawn a block that gets pushed out, so they look like they push out the wall. Hey, yeah, so on the same wavelength. So it could be like a wall thing that pushes it out, or like a spring that like, haha, you're getting launched away. Stuff like that for sure. That would be cool to add. But like, I don't know how much I want to like I might save that for, as I said, when it goes from being a looping animation to the 24/7 run thing. Unsure, not completely. I don't know. But then, also potentially, moving on to other things that have nothing to do with a conveyor belt or other things. What will be eventually cool is if I'm, making more actual stuff, pulling in assets from those things into here, and vice versa. Like maybe, in the Hand with Unicycle, I could have this conveyor belt somewhere. Actually, I have no idea how it will physically look to have the Unicycle character on this, and whether it would completely freak out and not work at all. That's the concern with this. Like I got it to work just funkily enough for this, but for a getting a player to actually interact with it, like will it break apart completely? Who knows? Gotta have maybe more like safety net code if such a thing happens. But for now it's fine. Okay, so let's I say that's good for the right now, and maybe you don't have him on it, but something on it he needs to fix while... But something on it he needs to fix while it's moving. Oh, I like that idea. with the Hammer unicycle, we did want like different levels to be slight variations of objectives or whatever. I did so one idea that I had for a type of level, like so any type of level could be like there's only one of it in the whole game, would be so when you're repairing stuff, it does have this meter of it slowly filling until it's fully repaired. And ideal most things is like you go up, it's like you're repairing it for like 2 seconds and then it's good or whatever. Or maybe some things repair basically instantly. But I had an idea of like one level where there's basically one thing to repair that's like in the center of the map, but it has a super long thing that takes a long time to fill, but then there's hazards chasing you that stop you from repairing things. So you're basically having to spend this level, go up to the thing, repair it a little bit, and then run away, and then chase enemies around stuff or like whatever, go through some hazards, and then repair a little bit more, and then run away. And hopefully in a way that's not like tedious or whatever, it's still like fun or whatever. But yeah, that being so that was a potential level kind of thing that I'd thought of. But that thing that is a slowly repairing thing being on the move that's also super interesting. Well, okay, currently that repairing code, like you get your movement stops while you're repairing something, so I'd have to like make that work, but I'm sure I could. I'm sure that like something that's slowly moving on a conveyor belt, or even something that's like flying away and you got to catch up to it and then repair it bit by bit. I like that idea. That's a cool idea. Definitely, yeah. Adding that to the list of cool things that we could have. Certain guys are stealing the stuff while he's trying to. Yeah, stealing his tools. Oh, that'd be interesting. Like something actually steals like your wrench or whatever, then you physically cannot repair anything until you get it back. That's another idea I didn't think of. Something that actually stops you from physically repairing stuff. Interesting. Because for the most part of that game, it was on purpose that you don't really have health. It's just when you take damage or fall into pits, you just get stunned for a couple seconds. When you fall in a pit, you like respawn and all that. Because I wanted it to be more about like hazards just being things that slow you down from completing your timed objectives was kind of how I wanted to treat that. And a lot of objectives being time-based. But yeah, definitely stuff I'll play around with. But it's gonna be based on my list here, which I need to add a lot more things to it. It's gonna be a while before we get back to working on the Hammy with the Unicycle. A lot of it comes down to graphical things of like, here's things I've never done in Unity that like will potentially be part of this game, so doing them in isolation, and then once we made enough of that stuff, a lot of it will eventually be focused on making like human-y characters and moving them around good in Unity, not just in Blender, but in Unity. Not necessarily animating a character in Unity, but it could be a character animated in Blender, but then in Unity properly to interact with things in a Unity world, like, pick up something off a table or whatever, do ledge grabs. Then, kind of, once I'm more skilled at such things, even doing like, I want to do some animated shorts as like cutscene practice, essentially, for that game. To then also build tools to make like in Unity cutscenes and do that easier. Not just cutscenes. I generically say cutscenes is this catch-all, like, in a game you have a cutscene, but even like during gameplay, like, oh, look over at that thing, a door opened, like the 2 seconds like cutting away from gameplay to then cutting back to gameplay, which isn't really a cutscene, but like kind of a cutscene. Even like that kind of thing, some tools that could help to make those such things. Yeah, sort of we're gonna be spending a while making a lot of that kind of stuff, while also making a lot of cool things along the way, like this conveyor stuff. The idea that this could potentially be used for some kind of tank thing is interesting. Even one of these little animations I could make could just be like, there's a tank over here, and they're like shooting at each other. One thing that is an interesting challenge with this is the fact that I essentially have to work around just the dimensions of this. Like usually if you're making an animation, it's, full 60 by 9. I've, locked myself into just the way that I want this to be. Making an animation that occupies this 200 by 1920 space, and then like maybe up here is an optional thing. But yeah, we can come up with some interesting things. It doesn't even have to be like, some of them don't even have to be that like spectacular in terms of all the movement that's happening. Like one thing I can do is I have this like submarine that I made for this like submarine tutorial in this like underwater environment that I made. Even just a simple thing where it's like, underwater environment, and the submarine just slowly like moves around, and maybe some like fish and coral and stuff. Can even be something as small and subtle as that, but just different cool looking idle things, basically just for while I'm rambling like I'm doing now, just for interesting stuff to be going on. Cam grabs are basically cutscenes. Yeah. But, I mean, there's like, so yes, but then there could be like, there's a difference between like you know, full-on cinematic cutscene with lots of characters doing character-y things or whatever. I do have it as a rule of thumb, something that I want to try and do with the Hangman with Unicycle, where the camera never cuts away, except when you die and respawn. That's like an exception, but like, and even that, it's like I have a curtain that goes like whoosh, whoosh, and then you're back where you were. But I want a lot of the cutscenes in that game, ideally all of them, I want to design them in a way where the camera never really cuts away. The camera just, you know, pans around between different things. Like, if I want effectively a cut from, like, looking this way to looking this way, the camera just... It can, like, quickly move, but rather than it being an actual cut, like one frame here, next frame there, I want it to, you know, move around and stuff, and then smoothly go between, oh, this was the cutscene camera of stuff happening, whoosh, now you're moving, just from, like, it going to the, you know, behind the player, and then you're going again, to then in a cutscene, the camera going from the behind the player kind of angle to moving down and into whatever, you know, the cutscene angle I need. Yeah, I want that to be a thing, which would be cool. I also, with that, I don't plan on really doing my, any, like, pre-rendered cutscenes in Blender. I kind of wanted all to be in-engine Unity cutscenes, which will have the benefit of that I can use stuff from the actual, like, levels themselves. A lot of the cutscenes, in theory, will be taking place in just the levels and, like, the hub world, which means I wanted to recreate that stuff both in Unity and Blender and then make it all, like, match up in terms of lighting or whatever. But then also I can very smoothly, you know, transition between the things. This is your 5-minute warning? Oh no, so it is. We gotta finish this. So I don't have time to put in the stopping thing, so we're just gonna time this manually. Was there any other changes I wanted to make? Real quick. The lighting, I just want to actually make the back wall just a little bit brighter, but I'm just gonna turn the, because then the chat, it gets auto kind of darkened by that. And then the camera itself, nope, I think you're, don't move you ever so slightly higher. You're probably fine. All right, ready? I don't want to record right away. I want to wait a few seconds for the conveyor belts to kind of kick in before the first thing drops. Yeah. I think I started that fast enough. If I go through this whole thing and then discover, oh no, it wasn't timed fast enough, it'll be a thing. I don't know. Actually, I love the first two being like cyan, but whatever. It's randomness. It doesn't matter. Just don't look too close. I could add more random colors, but yeah, it's fine. It works. It's all right. Okay, so yeah, I just gotta sit and wait. Okay, so I say sit and wait. I can totally ramble about things, as rambling is what I do. Okay, so where are we going from here? I do want to keep an eye on, like, making sure I catch the last one, because at the moment I need to end it manually. So next, I think the next stream will be not doing something related to the bottom background thing. I think it's at a point where it's, like, cool enough for me to sort of move on for now. The next thing I want to do is just another thing on my list of just things I just want to do just for the sake of, on level with the conveyors of just, here's the thing, let's do it, let's see how it goes. And that's laser. I don't know if that'll take super long. We're gonna see. I want to basically just have, like, oh, here's, you know, receptacle, laser, bouncing off walls, spawn new laser, essentially, have it be able to bounce off a lot of stuff, and figure out how to spawn those kind of things. The one, hello. Lasers are fun? Hopefully so. I don't, oh, what the heck? No, it broke. It actually broke. No, I can't use this. No. How? How is that possible? That's not supposed to be able to happen. Okay, what we're gonna do is put a new seed. I guess, oh, the seed doesn't have to be numbered, but whatever. But going to bed, ladies. I need, oh wait, I'm not ready. Okay, I got it in time. So how was the mini personal game jam? It went well. Game, no time to think. I did finish it, and it's, finish. We're saying that it's like done-ish, but something that I'm gonna come back to. It's a playable experience, but I want to go back to it at some point and do more polish and whatnot. I can quickly bring it up right over here. Ooh, look at this. Yeah, the page here is not super good. Although we photoshopped this together, it's got a nice, like, angle of something in game that, yeah. Here, I'll put it quickly in the chat, because why not, since I have it open. Well, if you're interested in playing it, it's not, you know, amazing, it's nothing spectacular, but it was made in a short amount of time, and it's playable, and it has some kind of things. AKA Rush Cube, lol. Yeah, we called it No Time to Think, just because it was a name I came up with and is fine. But yeah, it's not like Rush Cube. Yeah, it could. It's definitely better names, for sure. But the idea is that I want to go back to it at some point and do a lot more polish, but not right now. I have other things I want to do more importantly. Okay, so I don't know why the conveyor broke the one time. Probably because I increased the mass of the cube. It's just being funkier, but you know, for now, if I only get one take of this, it's like fine. It's like good enough, then that's gonna be okay. Okay, so where are we going for this? So doing this and then doing lasers, because lasers will be interesting. Which I want to figure out more of a game plan for how I'm going to do that, because I don't want to spend too much time on the string and be like, what am I doing? I want to go into it with a little bit of game plan, so there's less. Last minute, cherish it. Okay, so like, we're gonna end things right after this is done. I need this to finish. Rendering. I don't know if there's a way I can speed it up, like go into game mode, into play mode at like 2 times speed effectively, and have it go at twice the speed or whatever. But yeah, okay. I will be finishing up after this animation or after this renders. But yeah, I do gotta go. What's this? So you see how below my stream there's like stuff happening? Basically while I'm rambling and like whatever. Basically, so one, I wanted to move the desktop to be like so my face isn't covering it at all. And already I'm loving that decision. Definitely was a good decision for me personally, I think. And then also I can just have some cool Unity things going on around the stream, and I think it's cool. So we're making a new one. So we have what's had there right now. We're about to replace it for what I'm rendering right now. Oh, that's the last cube. Okay. Yep. Beep, 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 beep. Yep. Out of time. So I gotta stop this right time. Like a second or two after the last cube leaves the screen. All right, ready? 3, 2, don't press too hard. I'd rather it be too late than too early. And 1, 2, 3, 4, wha. Oh god, I've just realized it's not going to loop perfectly because the conveyor belts aren't going to loop, obviously. Whoops. Okay, I don't have time to fix that right now. I didn't even consider that. The entire, how long is this one going? 3 hours and 42 minutes. I didn't consider that at all, that the conveyor belts themselves aren't going to loop. But whatever, it's close enough that it's fine. I forget that. The long-term idea as well. So it's not just an animation that's down there that's repeating. The long-term idea is you never know, there could be a miracle loop that lined up. Right, in theory. Physics, or at least be close enough. I'm just calling it based on something, physics, conveyor, whatever. The long-term idea is that down there will eventually, rather than a looping animation, it'll be like a mini game that's happening. There's like actually like randomized stuff, like a character that's navigating an environment or whatever that just looks cool visually and like, ooh, cool programming. All right, say goodbye to this. Wait, yes, and ta-da! Woo! I think it's cool. All right, the beginning did work good, I guess. It's fine. Is it blurry? I don't think so. I don't know. What is? Any like minor changes I can make between next stream and this stream. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I don't care. Anyways, I'm out of time, so I gotta go. But let's raise things up for the finale. Yeah. 2 people. I'm not gonna raid anyone. I also don't got time to find someone. So, but this is cool. At least a good like. The idea as well, eventually be like mini game stuff happening. We'll switch it out from time to time, make a couple animations that we cycle between. That'll be cool. And then also having it be, if chat can control to some degree stuff that happens, that would be cool. So I have ideas for where I could take this, but also, yeah, it's just a cool thing to have going and being cool. If I eventually go the mile of like, if people follow me, then like their name is on one of those cubes or whatever. That huge programming, that would also be a big mess, but how can I get some sleep? Thank you. I definitely will not be streaming tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be way too busy. Friday? Maybe? Unsure. The laser thing, I don't know how long that will take, but yeah, we'll see. Is there's a tiny chance I stream tomorrow? There's like the tiniest of chances. But, and then after that, well, actually, I'm going to readdress this. I think the next steps here was going to be like making the thing perfectly loop. Might not do that. And then I put in like maybe making the crates themselves be better. I think it's fine right now. I might want to, maybe I'll move on to other things. I'm not sure. And the next thing is then I'm going to be starting to actually work on my next tutorials that I'm going to be making. That are like my next actual YouTube videos, which I have some plans for such things and what they're going to be like. But I need to make some custom Unity tools, but like on a smaller scale than the tools for like some of my later stuff that This is going to require I'm in the middle of making, but it's not done yet, a fancy, like, camera rig that I'm making. First few tutorials I'm going to make are going to not be as complex. Or, like, intermediate tutorial ideas that, like, It's still gonna look cool and have an interesting visual style if it works how I'm thinking it will in my head. But then this will be a point where I kind of go even further with it. Anyways, but between here and here, there's gonna be more stuff that's just not written in this list. Anyways, but yeah, I have ideas for. So then I might be starting to work on my next tutorials, which I don't know how much of that is gonna be streamed versus like me working on stuff of my own. Might go back and forth between stuff, but we'll see. But yeah. Anyways, so that is. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah. So cool things coming, cool things incoming, and yeah, this conveyor thing was just one of them. I don't know. One of my tutorial ideas, if after now that I've made this conveyor thing, if I want to make a tutorial on how I made this conveyor belt thing, we'll see. I have to see if. I'm pushing 5 minutes late. Yeah, I'll have to see if I want to make an actual tutorial on that. We'll see. I mean, it was a lot more physics and a lot less programming than I thought, but that's not a bad thing, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Most of the tutorials I want to make are going to be more programming based, but we'll see. So I guess we're gonna end things off for now, though, and yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. So, and even between next year and now, I might do a little bit more tinkering with how it's currently looking down there. We'll see. But anyways, I think that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. Did outro fast that time. All right. Yeah. Anything's for realsies. See y'all next time, and yeah. Bye.